Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. After a historic second T20 match, we are here for the second, the decider. Currently, the series sitting 1-1, South Africa versus the West Indies. Once again, the South Africa side, they have won the toss. They have elected to bowl. So this will be a very interesting run set for the West Indies, as last time they got 258 and it wasn't enough. South Africa chased it down with 7 balls to go. So what do you do here if you're the West Indies? Do you go all out slugging again? We saw some brilliant batting, though, from their lineup, including a century made, the quickest T20 century in West Indian history, and actually ahead of the great man Chris Gale to be able to do such a thing. But it is going to be the KFC bucket coming down from the sky. They always have it from a drone, and it does deliver the match ball to get us ready to go. Looking through at the lineups, they have made a couple changes both sides, and mainly in the bowling department. I guess as you would when the best economy rate was 9.75 throughout the last match, and a trend that I've noticed for both of these sides, they've actually brought in a few more of their test bowlers. Anrik Nokia, also Ngidi coming back for the South Africans. Roston Chase coming into the lineup for the West Indies, alongside also Alzari Joseph. Two big changes there for the Windies, but we are in Johannesburg for the third T20. I'm excited to see how this match goes. I hope you guys are too, because it is going to be maybe a lot of sixes. Like they just mentioned, there were 33 fours in the last matchup. That is a number that you don't normally see in a T20 match, let alone two. But they were both able to absolutely smack it out the park. Quinton de Kock, a man that a lot of people have got their eyes on for the South Africans. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be walking away with the victory here between these two sides. I think it's going to be a good one. I feel like 200 once again is about the target that they will have to try and set the West Indies. Now, we said 200 last time might be looking like a reasonable total, but they went 50 above that, and still the South Africans were able to chase it down. Yeah, it is a big question mark. How many runs do the West Indies need, and can they defend it? The big thing for me last week when watching this test match, when watching this T20, was both sides weren't really bowling to a plan, instead just throwing down the half volleys, making it easy for the batsmen to hit those sixes. You either need to be wide outside of off stump, where they have to reach for it, try and really stretch them. Definitely on this field, we see a short boundary on one side, but we see quite a long, about 70 or so meter boundary on the other. So you've got to bowl wide, try and make them hit to that long boundary. Whereas if you bowl it straight, they are certainly whipping you off the pads and they are taking you all the way to the boundary. But you need to get it on the legs if you're going to bowl it straight. It's actually how we saw a couple of the wickets falling when South Africa were bowling last time. But they are going to be opening with a spinner. We're ready for the burst ball, ladies and gentlemen. And it is a Yorker towards the pads. And it is going to be whipped away for one by Brandon King to get us underway for this T20. What we'll quickly do is we will adjust our scoreboard a little bit, hopefully, with a little bit of luck. There we go. And we'll scroll up a little bit so it looks a bit more centralized. I think my face just disappeared when I did that. Hopefully it is back now. Second ball, no run taken off it. Nice work so far from South Africa. Much better start than we saw in the last match, mainly because we saw boundary after boundary. Mayers, he'll go after it a little bit here if he does get the opportunity. But once again, well bowled by Fortuin, a man who did get added in for this matchup. He did play in the first T20, but did find himself missing out on selection for the second. And it isn't a rarity to see South Africa open with a spinner here. We did see them do it in the last match, and it did actually have Aidan Markram as one of the opening bowlers who did go not too badly with the bat or the ball, giving himself room there. King going for it, but does end up missing the ball outside of off stump. Big swing, no connection there. And they did mention that today there is a little bit more in it for the bowlers, which will be fantastic news, because last week there wasn't a huge amount in it for them, other than pretty much getting smacked to the boundary multiple times. Another single. In fact, they don't take the single there. Nice work from South Africa again. We're just going to quickly check something here. There we go. We are all good to go. I was just checking the Wi-Fi connection. We are good. Fortuin now Once again, giving himself space, but it's that loft on the ball that makes it a little bit harder to hit it away. Hits it to long on for a single, into the over, and it will be 3 for none now. So very good first over from Fixture, and I'm looking forward to seeing this man bowl that they have got on screen at the moment. Amrik Nokia bowls phenomenally in the test matches. We saw when he went to Australia, some Australians were cheering him more than their Australian side. It's just the way that the big man motions, works around the field. He's always trying, which is exactly what you need. Of course, he's going to have to not work as hard in this T20 as he would in a test match, but line and length outside off stump could be absolutely massive for him here. They are just showing the records broken from the last match. Highest aggregate score, most boundaries in a match. West Indies joint most sixes in an innings. West Indies highest score, South Africa's highest score. Charles, fastest century for the West Indies. De Kock, fastest 50 for South Africa. Most runs in a power play by a test playing nation. Most runs in the first 10 overs. I didn't even get through all of them. There were still 2 more. I think it was the highest opening run partnership for the South Africans. And also 1 more, all off the outside edge. Going to go down to the man at deep third man. Is Ngidi for this one. But that is how many records were broken last T20. Which is absolutely incredible that the amount that I listed wasn't all of them. There were about 12 for that last match. And you have to say that both sides definitely played a factor in beating that record multiple times for different categories. Wayne Parnell now bowling. The South Africans' first ball coming off the outside edge, but does only go for the single. So yet to see a boundary from the West Indies. Although, going to change that there. Mayers smacks it down the ground. That's 6 runs. And you can trust the West Indies to start an innings with a 6 rather than a 4. Mayer's just got himself set in position. He played a beautiful shot in the second test match where he just rocked back and then actually played that shot, but it went out through cover in that second T20. This time just flies down the ground. Parnell gives him a bit of a stare and says, oi, wasn't quite where that ball was supposed to go. The thing is, it wasn't even a half volley. It's just the power of Mayers who can really generate it quickly, but he still has the control to be able to block the next ball as he does just there. Sitting 7 off 4 at the moment in this matchup. Now just banging it in. Got the loft on and Sunny and Judith here. We are looking forward to this match. We have both gone down with COVID for the first time. Sorry to hear that. We love to see a South African win. I think South Africa win the Rugby World Cup too. I think they've got a very good chance. Yeah, hopefully you guys do recover relatively quickly. Your symptoms aren't too bad. That's another 6 from Mayers, cracking it out through mid-wicket into the stands. Oh, the thing with these stands is they've actually got gaps there. So if a person doesn't catch the ball, it's going through and it's probably going to be quite hard to find. Got to aim for the embankment. Make it easier to get that ball back. But yeah, hopefully you guys do feel better very soon. And I think you're right. South Africa, they're defending champs at the end of the day. So they'll certainly want to make sure that they defend their crown and they do get to hold on to that World Cup for another 4 years. So we head to, I believe it's Australia for 2027. Back foot punch out to point there for Mayers. No run taken. Now he's got to be careful. Anytime it's almost at a half volley length, Mayers is definitely going to be able to generate that power to be able to drive it anywhere on the ground for 6. And that's actually, I believe he's gone after the long boundary there as well, which makes it even that much more impressive. Although 77 meters, in fact, I apologize, that was at the short boundary. Oh, great Yorker there from Parnell. No run taken. It's hit him on the toe. Now, that's exactly what you got to do. Get it to come into him. And then it doesn't feel so nice when you get smacked on the top of the foot. No matter how good your shoes are, you still feel it. That'll be the end of the second over. 16 for none. They've got DRS if they want to go upstairs, but I don't believe they will. It was going down leg by about 3 stumps, but first blow of the day. That doesn't sound right, does it? First knock of the day. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, right on the toes. Did feel it. Definitely. The way that he reacted there, trying to squish the toe as well. And oh, yeah, it didn't even bounce beforehand. So it generated all the power right onto that foot, which wouldn't have felt great at all. And also, hey there, Rudy. And also, here we go again. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game, that is for sure. These two sides, they've made a couple changes each, and it is going to be Ngidi, the next man bowling. Tried to whack that one, King, and Ngidi knows it. Just the dot ball there. Still playing with his toe there, Mayers, as well, so something might be wrong with it. I know that we had a player in our team recently. I was umpiring, and he got out LBW because it was plumb as plumb can be pretty much, but it hit him right on the middle of the toe, and the thing that gave away the fact that he didn't hit it even more and that it did just hit his toe is the fact that he then flicked his foot afterwards in pain. So it pretty much gave me no choice but to give it out. And he has a very bruised toe at the moment from it. And Getty down the leg side, 6 runs, can't bowl there, short boundary as well. And that's going to be smacked into the boundary. Right, got that one slightly wrong. Ngidi normally bowls in the test matches, should be outside off stump. How's your finger doing today, says Rudy. It's still attached, which is great, but it is still not quite 100%. I'm starting to get the bending back into it, which is great. It's been about 10 days since I originally damaged it. It's still pretty bruised in there underneath. Like I can feel where it is a bit rough. And when you go like that, it's still a bit dodgy. But I'd say another like 5 days or so, and it should be back to 100%. I think I dislocated it though. Out of all the options, it makes sense that it would be dislocated. And then I think I popped it back in while playing, which it worked all right at the time. So Janssen actually coming out, another 6. He actually stepped across to the offside, and that one's onto the roof. Who's got a ladder? Because someone's going to need one. There's the ball. Have they got a gutter system? They're just talking about the fact who can actually get that ball. We can see it. Have they got any ladders? Because I don't see a ladder system unless it's at the back, perhaps, to be able to go up onto that roof and get the ball. But that is going to take a little bit of time, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great shot from King. Now moving up to 15 off 8. Already they're getting a new ball. I made the joke that Marco Janssen might be tall enough to be able to reach up there and grab that one, but that might happen multiple times throughout this match because it's a short boundary, like I mentioned. He stepped across to the off stump. Very strategic batting and very well played by King. Put it out in front of him so that he could hook it around enough. 96 meters. So even with a long boundary, that one was going all the way. Getty, 12 off 3 balls. Slower ball, full toss. It's going to be hit well enough over the head of the infield, and that's going to be another 4 runs. Better delivery from Ngidi trying out the slower ball, 115 Ks, but still gets the same treatment. Hit to the boundary. First 4 of the day. That sounds weird to say after we've seen already 4 sixes, but first 4 being it. Just got it middled enough that it went over the ring field that the South Africans have got a bit too full. It was a full toss. And you can see the frustration on Ngidi's face. He's not used to this. Playing test match cricket, whole different great Yorker, whole different aspect than the T20s that we've seen recently. In West Indies, who knows? Maybe we see them try and match around that 250. I say more than likely around 200 might be enough today. He's just looked up at the sky. It's actually going to be a no ball from Ngidi, so that makes him probably feel a little bit worse. I'm going to check the weather for Johannesburg while we are at it and see whether or not there is rain expected. Actually, both of the first 2 test matches have had rain. Second one, we managed to get right through it without the rain affecting it fully. This one, hopefully going to be the same. The first one got shortened just a little bit, partly cloudy. Should be fine. Next rain in Johannesburg is actually on Friday. I don't believe they've got anything on that one, but now it's going to be a free kick or free hit. Sorry, Myers on strike, wide Yorker. Oh, that's just a shot. I don't know what that man's bat's made out of or what's happened there, but he's just stuck the bat out, flicked his wrists at the last moment, and it's just flung off the bat face, gone for the 4 runs. Myers, he doesn't even try and overhit it. It's at the lower part of the bat, a hard ball. It's quite an incredible shot from the West Indies. It was right on the wide line, so might have ended up getting a wide for it if he had decided to leave it. But yeah, great work from him there again. Gets it away to the boundary, and Getty looking disappointed again. He's got to make sure that he finds his line here. He's thrown a couple full tosses up, and Mayers and King have both gone after it. Nice slow ball, just misses the off stump. That's going to be 22 off the first over of Ngidi. It's not quite the Cottrell, which was 29 off his first over for the West Indies in the last T20, but quite expensive from Ngidi. I wonder whether or not they've got that ball down from the roof yet, from the second shot of the over, because he just swung straight through the line, waited for the right length as well, didn't rush it. I want to see Nokia bowling, though. I feel like he could be quite a handy asset. I don't know whether they should bowl him in the power play, though, to be honest. I feel like looking at this, I would actually go back to spin. I think that the spin might be the far better option. Less pace on the ball. We already saw that that actually helped out a little bit. Like they've said, they have slowly gone from strength to strength. The first over didn't go for too many runs at all. Second over went for about that 12, and then the third over there we saw went for 22. Here comes Kagiso Rabada, the man who had the best economy out of any bowler that's gone off the edge, and they are going to get themselves a bye, or sorry, a run, because it was off the edge. My apologies. But then the clock disappointed with that one to have slipped through his hands. What happens when this one edges? Almost edged it onto his stumps. The cock was going down the leg side. Oh, it's actually bounced up and hit him in the back of the head, which is why he was rubbing it a little bit. Yeah, just smacks him on the side of the head there. Oh, Quinton de Kock. Hopefully he is all right to bat. Oh, bowled him! Great shot. Oh, sorry, great ball from Kagiso Rabada. Knocks Mayers over in more ways than one. Not only did he knock his stumps over, he also managed to make Mayers fall over in the process of trying to play the shot. That is a perfect example of an off-balance batsman. If you do end up falling over, it does mean you've well and truly overcommitted. And it was the knuckleball actually came back in a little bit, almost more like a leg cutter, and Mayers swung to the leg side, misses the ball, and that is going to be the first wicket of the day for the South Africans. Very well bowled by Kagiso Rabada. I'm still sticking by the fact that I think they should have spun from the other end, though, but Rabada was a good choice here. He was able to get the wicket of Mayers, and he's been hitting the ball very well, but that now means that we get to see the run scorer come in at number 3, the record breaker, the big six hitter, the man who got 100 runs and boundaries. I'm talking about Charles, now making his way to the middle. Johnson Charles, number 3, had a brilliant innings, 118 in the last match. Hope I gave him a big enough intro, because this man deserves it. It's his high time, or his highest score that he has ever gotten in that last test match as well. And it's been a long time since he did score his last high score. It was actually in about 2014 or somewhere around there. So it's been a while for Johnson Charles. He's age 34 now. He's older, he's wiser. And if he gets bowled first ball, then I'll look like a goose. We'll see how it goes. Johnson Charles, hang on. We need the scoreboard updating. There we go. That's looking a lot better. It was actually only on 4 for none, which was a little bit off. Now we're good to go. Now Rabada. Oh, he's bowled him first ball. He's bowled him first ball. Charles is gone. How did I blow that so badly for the man? I gave him an intro of the century, and he's just gone. He had a century last week. Is it a no ball? Or is he gone? I think he's gone. Johnson Charles. How harsh a game of cricket can be. You can go from 0 to hero, or hero to 0 in 1 week. Edged it onto his stumps. Rabada's on a hat trick. That poor man. Johnson Charles. Oh. And goose duck, says Rudy. How did I blow that so badly for the man? I feel like I have to send him like an apology letter in a present or something. As that is the perfect example of a commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen. And you won't get a better example of it than that. That lady's loving it. She's having a bit of a disco in the stand. She's got faces on her shirt, but I don't think they're actually faces. They might be masks. Now Nicholas Puran making his way to the crease. Hat-trick ball for Kagiso Rabada. What can he do here, the big man? Getting it right for his first 3 deliveries. An edge off the first ball. Bowling. Johnson Charles on his second. And getting himself a very Good bit of work there. Hang on, we'll go like this and we'll go like this. Please don't say anything when the cock comes out to bat. Yeah, I don't want to jinx him as well. But, I mean, who knows? Right. A Bale is getting replaced. One of the zingers didn't want to light up, I believe. They just have to make sure that they are getting set. Are both zingers? Oh, no. Umpires dropped it for the hat-trick ball. Those Bales may go flying in a short moment, ladies and gentlemen, if Kagiso Rabada can get it right. Here we go. Hat-trick ball. Young fans in attendance, watching on, wanting to see a moment that they will not soon forget. Kagiso Rabada over the wicket, bowling to Nicholas Puran, the wicketkeeper for the West Indies. He's done a cover drive, beautiful shot. And that's going to be racing away for at least the 2 runs. It's a quick outfield here. It goes for 4. Good chase in the end from Aidan Markram. Just not quite able to get to the ball in the end. Nice shot. That's a way to shut down the hat trick, getting yourself a nice cover drive there. What we will quickly do is we will go like this. I just want to quickly check something. I want to see what latency we're looking like on the live stream at the moment. In fact, Rudy, if you'd be able to help me out for a second, I feel like it's glitching a little bit, but would you be able to put now in the chat so that I can see how far behind the live stream actually is compared to what I'm saying at the moment? I believe there's normally about a 30-second delay, somewhere around there. So hopefully it's somewhere about around there as well. Going to be nicely bowled by Rabada. Another dot ball for him. Now, he's only gone for the 5 runs so far, but he has managed to get himself now, says Rudy. Okay, so it is quite good in terms of the latency. That's ideal. Thank you, Rudy, for your assistance. Yeah, my live streaming software has been a bit weird lately. I think it's the connection between YouTube and the software that I use. I've seen it with quite a few streamers who use the same platform. Oh, nice in swinger from Kagiso Rabada. Looks like it's going to whip away to the boundary. It's going to go for 9 runs this over, but still managed to pick up the 2 big wickets of Mayers and also Charles. Both going way earlier in the innings than they would have liked. It looks like Rabada's actually frustrated with that last ball. He thought that it was a beautiful in-swinger, about 15 to 20 seconds, says Rudy. That is good because my YouTube studio, when I looked on it, had me about, I'd say, about maybe 5 or 6 minutes behind. So I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't actually the case and that it was a little bit speedier than that. Currently after 4 overs, 47 for 2. Did see the South Africans set an all-time record for international T20 power play totals, being over the 100 runs during that time. West Indies, I don't think they'll quite get there today, but I think they could still have about a 70 over power play if these two can get it right, although more than likely they may be a little bit more defensive. Here comes Anrek Nokia. Got pace on it, off the outside edge, flies down to the man at third man, who's perfectly placed, Kagiso Rabada, and just gets himself the 1. But that commentator's curse on Charles, I don't think you can get any more perfect than that in terms of, not for him, he went out, unfortunately, but not like perfectly calling what's going to hopefully not happen that does happen. I don't think we've done that to that extent before. That could end up being a clip. Who knows? Now, Anrek Nokia. It's like he's got quite an offside field, but doesn't have a third man for Puran, who's currently sitting on 8 off 3. Or he doesn't have a deep third man, I should say. Oh, it's hit his pad. They think about the single. They don't manage to get it. Shot at the stumps from the fielder, but no chance of the run out there. Current run rate, 11.08. Nokia's normally pretty economical when it comes to test match cricket, but playing in a T20 is a whole different ball game. So they do use, I guess, a slightly different ball, but still the same weight, 156 grams, 4-piecer, but it is white rather than being red like the test match. He might still be able to get it to move a little bit, bit of seam, bit of swing perhaps. Down the leg side, you're not getting it to swing. The only thing swinging is the batsman's bat, and it's gone all the way for 6 over the head of Kagiso Rabada. Just shows how good Puran's hands are to be able to catch up with that delivery when it was down the leg side. Not easy to do as a batsman, but saw that it was going down that leg side early and then just managed to whip the hands through it, work it away to the boundary, and that is quite a confident shot. 89 meters To know that you've got the ability of hitting it all the way for six and not worried about the fact that they've got the man at deep fine leg, always very impressive. Currently, the screen's gone black for Sky Sport. So I don't know whether or not that is the case for everyone watching this game or whether that's just a Sky Sport thing. I'm sure they'll be back with the action in the very near future. But for now, we have still got the scoreboard, of course, that we can base it off. But Puran, that was his first six of the day. He has also got himself the four. And I'm watching my Willow Cricket, or I'm watching on Willow Cricket. But you're the man when it comes to commentary, 100%. Says Rudy, usually appreciated once again down the leg side. Half a chance for Quinton de Kock. He dove for it, even though he knew he wasn't going to be getting to it. Just wanted to make it look good. They will just get the one. That time didn't quite get it as nicely as he would have liked Puran. I believe that one actually may have got caught up in the gloves a little bit. Slightly shorter and slightly straighter. So not as easy to whip off the pads. When that is the case. Where is it? Yeah, a bit shorter and actually ended up coming off the glove rather than the bat. So didn't quite get that one for Puran. Yeah, Quinton de Kock, I guess just trying to warm up with a couple dives in there as well. Nokia charging into the crease. Slower ball though. And a little swinger. Going away 143 Ks. It looks slower, but it did just, maybe that's because of the swing. It just kind of drifted around nicely for that delivery of Anrik Nokia. In fact, my apologies. It seemed away. Did still have a bit of swing, but I thought that it was late swing that caused it to move. But it was, in fact, the seam movement from Nokia, who enjoy using a ball with a bit of seam on it. To cut back in this time, perhaps. And it's a nicer, shorter delivery. They're going to take on the one. They get through for the quick single. That'll be the end of the fifth over. It has gone for 9 runs, and the West Indies sitting 56 for 2. Now, I should mention this is actually quite a late starting game in South Africa compared to the other matches that we have seen so far. Other games have been starting at 1 a.m. New Zealand time. This one starting at 5 a.m. New Zealand time. So a lot later for us here in New Zealand, a lot later in South Africa as well, but still a nice evening time. The only thing more lethal than Nokia's bowling is an Aussie Spider cam. 152.6 kilometers versus the shot they just had as a sign. Of course, Nokia got cleaned up by that Spider cam in Australia, and I think that's actually part of why the fans started to like him even more. Like, he got absolutely smashed over, got back up and just continued with the test match like nothing had happened. It was great to see that he wasn't injured from that because he certainly could have been. Now, Rabada drifting down the leg side, may have been an inside edge onto the pad. Does he get runs for it? He certainly does. So King now moves up to 27 off 15. Speeding towards that half century currently. Just tried to flick it away and just managed to get enough bat on it that it does go away to the boundaries. Quinton de Kock tried to dive for that one. Didn't quite get onto it either for that delivery. Yeah, with it being at 5 a.m., it's a bit of a weird time start a test match here in New Zealand. Trying to whip that one down towards third man. Rabada asks for it. Quinton de Kock thinks that there might have been a bit of an edge, I think, which is actually why they've gone up for it. Now, Quinton de Kock is a wicket keeper. He's an experienced veteran of the side. Unless it's obvious, I don't see them going up for it. Oh, they do. Right. Rabada only appealed because he saw Quinton de Kock appeal. So if anything, if there is an edge, it's a very faint one. But it would be a big wicket to get King out at this point of the T20. So maybe. You don't really get too many chances to actually use your review in a T20 match. We saw neither side actually even have an appeal in the last matchup between the two sides. So Quinton de Kock went up straight away. He thought it was out. Oh, okay. The only thing that maybe is the outside edge right when it's about to go past the back edge of the bat. Is there going to be an edge? No. No, so that's going to be the review gone for the South Africans. I believe they just get the one in this case. And yeah, it's going to stay as not out. Normally, you trust your bowler and your wicketkeeper. If they both go up for it, there's a good chance. I think at the moment, oh no, they've still got one more review. 2 reviews in a T20 seem like too many. Probably unpopular opinion, but you've only got 20 overs. So theoretically, if you use up both of those, you've done either very badly with the appealing side of things or, yeah, had a busy day at the office. Still one remaining for South Africa. Like I mentioned, neither side actually using a single review in the last match. And they did go head to head. Anyone who is new to the channel, I should mention, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the chat who you think will be walking away with this victory. Could it be the West Indies or will it be the home side South Africa? I do see in the poll that we've got currently, we've had 38 votes. 82% of you feel that it will be the South Africans who are able to get themselves the victory. It's going to be a wide down the leg side from Kagiso Rabada. The 2 wickets in the first over that he bowled. The big one of Charles after he got himself 118, the quickest century scored by a West Indian player, passing Chris Gale. And then also the wicket of Mayers, who did end up falling over in the process of swinging for the ball. Kagiso tries a short ball. I heard a noise there, but I believe it's hit the back shoulder for King. Good carry through to the keeper, de Kock. And the tricky thing here for the bowlers is trying to bowl to the boundary or trying to bowl to the field set that they could have, because one boundary is very short, the other's relatively long. So when you're bowling with the short boundary on your, I guess you could say, the leg side, when it is that way, you got to make sure you're outside off stump. Oh, big full toss. Going to be misfielded there by Riley Rizzo. There's a mix-up, a direct hit. He almost would have been gone, but he does manage to get back. King looking at his teammate Puran going, why didn't we run there? And Young 21 has said, man, my streaming site's been giving me problems lately. I only saw a glimpse of the national anthems. And then boom, 40 plus for 2. Says Young 21. So I guess the wickets, if you do want to know about them, both were bowled by Kagiso Rabada. There was no signs of Puran running there. Hopefully it is working now for you, Young 21. Yeah, Rabada getting that line and length right early, and that massive wicket of Charles, I jinxed him big time. I pretty much said that Charles, I gave him about 1 minute intro saying how good he was going and how great his form was, and then boom, first ball gone. It's going to be the end of the Rabada over. Only 5 runs off it, so very good over from Kagiso, and that will now make it 61 for 2. So probably not too bad of a power play for either side, really. The 2 wickets falling for the South Africans, 10 and over currently what the West Indies are able to tick over at, so that's what they need. They do want a good chance, but yeah, knocking the off stump over for Rabada when it came to Mayers, and then knocking the leg stump over for Charles there as well. But still more 6s than 4s in this test match, which I believe is the trend that is going to continue throughout the rest of this T20. Everyone seems to love whacking boundaries, but they love whacking them on the full. Fortune now coming back into the bowling attack. He did only go for the 3 runs. That was off the very first over of the match. 10 and over is always a healthy run rate, says Thabo. It is. And even in conditions that could end up with a score of 200, I feel like as long as you're ticking over at a decent rate early on, you can start going for it later on. That's the benefit that both of these sides have. They have got power a long way down the order who can smack boundaries. Slower ball, great delivery from Fortune and put the flight on it. And that is something that he's got to use to his advantage. These West Indians, they love when there is speed on the ball that they can go after. He was waiting to watch the spin, which actually ended up with him missing the ball by miles. He swung after that one. Has he got enough? Just over. In fact, probably over by about 10 meters. A 6 there for Puran. Just dragged the length back a little bit too far there for Chuan. Yeah, it was a probably going over the stumps as well, 81 meters. And if you haven't checked out the South African juniors already, needs a look, says Yuri. Nice try again, mate. Not quite getting me, even though I've only had half an hour's sleep. 30 minutes is all I've managed to squeeze, and that's another 6 for the West Indies. But very nice shot. And like they've said, it's the longest boundary. So theoretically, he should be able to bowl towards the pads and not get smacked to the boundary. But once again, just dragging it down, and the West Indian batsman Puran gets himself set whacks it to the side. I just realized that your name as well is actually one of those innuendos, I guess you could say, but I also managed to only read out your first name. Now, two sixes in a row off Fortune. After such praise for the first ball when it was outside of off stump, it's where he's got to be bowling. Even though it's the short boundary, you've got more chance of getting the man out on that offside. That's a better delivery. Pitched up more, drifting out towards that fifth stump on the offside for 98 kilometres an hour. For that delivery, I'd like to see another floaty delivery here. Yep. Although he did bowl it too straight. Once again, he's going to be hit away to the boundary on the leg side. 76 kilometers. So he got it right in terms of trying the slower pace delivery. He just can't bowl it straight when he does that because we've seen the hitting arc of all of these West Indian top order batsmen. And that is if you put the ball in the slot, they won't hesitate to hit you away to the boundary. And yes, you may pick up a wicket like we saw earlier on for Rabada. That's a bit fuller on the leg side. Better that one. And the Chuan and Fortune is pronounced like Tain in Stain. Really? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So it is Fortain. Thank you very much, Starboy. I hugely appreciate that. It's a name that I wasn't too familiar with in terms of being able to pronounce it. I guess I said it the way that a Kiwi would say it rather than how it's actually pronounced. So I do apologize for that. So Fortain. Okay. I'll remember that. Tain like stain. That's a nice background that they have got there. The orange sky in Johannesburg. 7 overs so far, 80 for 2. So, yeah, it's looking like a 210, 220 type of pitch again, but there is a little bit more in it for the bowlers if they can get it right. And I am a little bit late. There's Yarnlu, better late than never, mate. Hope you are having a great evening so far. What is the time in South Africa, Yarnlu? I believe it's either 6:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m., isn't it? I believe it's 6:30, though, looking at how dark it is here at the ground. This game's going to be finishing relatively late. Second innings, a little bit of dew maybe going on the ball, making it slightly slipperier. We're not supposed to get any rain, though, which is good news. Well, this test match looks like Parnell has seen a loose thread that he wants to get rid of. Or in fact, he might have just pulled it out, so it might be all good now. But he did go for 13 in his first over. It's 16:35. Or sorry, 18:35. So 6:35. But never late is better, says Thabo there. Outside off stump. Will just be a single down to the man at deep cover. Charging in nicely, David Miller. Now, he had a couple big shots in that second T20, although he did struggle a bit at times, David Miller, to get going to the extent that he really wanted to. I was like, yes. Says Yanlu. Did you go to work on Monday and you got the bowling thing? Funny enough, I got an email last night from the bowling place and they were like, hey, we'd like you to come in for a job interview. And that's actually today, New Zealand time at 4 p.m. So I might not have managed my schedules too well because the more than likely situation I'm going to have is I'm going to end up, before this live stream, I got 30 minutes sleep, which was nowhere near enough. I should have tried to get about 6 or 7 hours, but instead ended up getting busy, ended up getting, when you start editing and you don't want to stop editing, I got into that mojo. So I got to about 4 or 3:50 and I was like, right, I'm going to try and sleep. So I slept till 4:25, quick nap. And then after this live stream finishes, that's going to be up in the air. Is there a third man? No, there's not. So it is just almost racing to the boundary, nicely cut off by Andrik Nokia. And slings it in. They may got 2 for that year. They only ran 2. They look like 3 every day of the week. But yeah, I ended up sleeping for 30 minutes. After this live stream, I'll end up sleeping for about 6 hours, jumping in the car, driving 30 minutes because that's how far away the place is, doing an interview that I have no preparation for whatsoever. But saying that, I don't know whether I fully need preparation for it because they just kind of wanted to hire me. And I'm not sure whether that's like, yeah, I don't know whether that's gonna be good or not. I'll just show up and be like, "Hey, I've worked in the past in customer service. I do YouTube." They know I do YouTube, though. That's actually why they want me to go for the interview because they think that I'll be able to help them in terms of the social media side of things. Wait, what? You went to a job interview half asleep? Haven't gone to one yet, but in about 7 hours after the live stream, I will go to a job interview that I don't have a CV for. They pretty much didn't say that I needed one. I should have done one, but it's been busy. Flow State says Young 21 in there as well. Now, one ball left. This has been a very good par now over. 1-1-2-1 dot. How it has gone so far. And now, last ball. Can he finish it off on a high? It's a slower ball. Banged it into the pitch as well. Great shot through the gap in the fielders on the mid-wicket side. And it is going to race away to the boundary for 4, but still a very good over from Parnell in the scheme of things anyway, with the amount of runs that we have seen scored already in this matchup. Not too bad overall, but I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, I don't know whether or not I will end up getting said job, mainly because I think they were looking for someone who could work on the weekends. And I really cannot work on the weekends. I've got YouTube commitments that I do want to make sure that I can fulfill. So if I can work during the week, perfect. You might see me at a bowling alley knocking down some pins. I'm not very good at bowling, and no CV. I need to move to New Zealand. I doubt they want a visa if they don't require a CV for a job. No, normal jobs you do need a CV. I think this one's more of like a. I was there the other day for a cricket breakup. Funny enough, involving cricket, and the lady she went away. Oh, it's not going to the boundary. It's going to be safe though. No one underneath it. Yeah, the lady went away to fix something in the back, so she was like, "Do you want to put the names in on the computer?" So I typed them all in, and then she was like, "Hey, do you want a job?" Saying as I did all right with that. And yeah, I thought she was joking for a start, but I was like, "Oh, yeah, nah, maybe. I don't know." That was pretty much my answer. Yeah, nah, maybe. I don't know. That's pretty much the least committed answer you could ever give, and a very Kiwi answer to give as well. But then, yeah, she was like, uh, "I'll give you our email, and if you want it, you can get it." And she actually said the thing that might give me the edge over, oh, that's a flat shot. It's going to be 4 runs. Nokia getting it down there at about 150, but still King hits it away to the boundary, moves up to 36 runs now on the board. Yeah, she said the thing that might give me the edge over the other ones actually applying for it is the fact that I do YouTube, because I've worked around social media, worked around like that kind of advertising and that sort of thing. Whether I'm good at it, I don't know, but you guys are here, so I guess I've done something right, slightly. We give you the best references, says Rudy. Yeah, I'll just be like, so you can contact one of our 22,000 subscribers and ask us, well, I bowled him, leg stump knocked out of the ground, Nokia, beautiful delivery. It was full. King stepped across to the offside, thinking that he would give himself room. It didn't work out. Base of leg stump, knocked over, and that's the 3rd wicket down now for the Windies. And he was looking for the short boundary. So he thought he'd give himself the room. I'm not sure whether Nokia realized that he stepped across and then bowled it on the leg stump. It looks like, yeah, he saw him shuffle, then got it full. It's almost Yorker length as well. Going to be very tricky. Yeah, the thing that might stop me from getting it is those hours in terms of weekends and whatnot. So I'm not hugely like expectant to get it, but who knows? Maybe they're like, hey, you want to work Mondays to Thursdays? And I'll be like, yeah, all right, maybe. Let's see how we go. The only problem is you got to travel 30 minutes to get there. Brandon King dismissed 36. What's he checking? I think he was checking for a no ball, hoping that they were going to bring him back, but nope, they did not. So now it will be the captain, Powell, making his way out to the middle, ready to go. Only 8.3 overs down in this matchup. I feel like they're a little bit behind in terms of time frame. What do we got here? I'm trying to look to see if they're behind in the over rate, but I can't see what that big billboard says. Now, mark and centre the captain. Now, he didn't have to have much of a bat in the first innings, but he does now get the chance here, pal. Sorry, not the first innings, the second T20 is what I meant. Oh, that I don't know why, but every time I talk about a T20, I always end up accidentally calling it a test match. So whether that's like first innings or in this test match rather than T20, just rolling off the tongue. I think it's because I'm so excited for the Ashes. It is coming up not too far away. But the last wicket was Brandon King, 36 runs off 25. He did better than he did in the first match. He did only get himself 1 run off 2 deliveries in that first match. Now Nokia picked up his first wicket. Normally when this man gets one, it's like a shark that smells blood in the water. Oh, almost got the edge away to the keeper, but it is a bottom edge. Goes away for 4. He wants to review it. He thinks that it's hit the pad, but I think it's at the bat out of context. Can I get Maori Tattoo Moko as a South African non-Maori? I, if with New Zealand culture says young, I'm probably not the best person to ask, mainly because I'm not Maori, but we have got a few Maori viewers. So if you are on one of the live streams for Super Rugby, I think there'd be a few in there that would definitely either tell. I think it would be fine because at the end of the day, I guess it's just showing appreciation for the New Zealand culture, as long as you don't get it in like a derogatory way or anything like that. Oh, that's bounced up awkwardly. I think that's hit him in the helmet or the chest, but that wouldn't have felt too nice at all for Puran. In fact, I've said that it's hit him in the glove. But yeah, we have got a few Māori viewers that we will see over the weekend. So yeah, be sure to come in for like a Super Rugby live stream, maybe a Chiefs game. That would be the perfect opportunity because we have got quite a few Māori viewers who do enjoy watching the Chiefs, but I think it would be fine. But yeah, seeing as I'm not Māori, it's hard to tell, I guess. You'll end up with even less sleep, says Rudy. Yeah, it's going to be, if I do get it, it's going to be busy for myself because we're going to be doing YouTube over the weekends, doing 30 or so hours of live streaming there. We're going to be, oh, another short ball, and that one's hit the glove of Pura, and he's just taken out the hands at the moment of the Windies, but that is the end of the ninth over, 100 for 3. Yeah, we'll end up doing YouTube on the weekends plus a couple live streams maybe during the week if we do get lucky. Have a couple breaks. I'm also going to be working my job with my dad, which is building. We're going to be pouring some big concrete slabs. So that will probably be the morning job. And then I'll be working night shift doing the bowling. So it's going to be pretty much every hour of the day I'm going to be doing something, which I already am, but I like being busy. It's just making sure that you're busy and not over busy. I'm probably going to be over busy, but as long as I'm having fun, that's all we want. I'll be here on Saturday, says Young 21. Yeah, I'm sure it would be all right, though. I think. But yeah, someone like a Marco Vunapola, he is Maori. Who else have we got who's Maori? David the Mod. David the Mod would be a perfect one to ask. He's kind of an older member of the Maori community. Now Markram into the bowling attack. That could have been a wide, but he does actually stretch for that one Puran and just works it away for 1. Currently, the weather's not too flash where I am. It's currently sitting 5 degrees, raining and windy. Luckily, at the game, it looks like it's a lot nicer. I feel like I've got one of the most Kiwi things going at the moment. I'm wearing like pretty much tradie shorts that only are like, or like rugby shorts, I guess is the best way of describing them, that are only down to like a quarter down my quads. So even though it's cold and I got a hoodie up top, I got pretty much just short shorts on the bottom. Now Markram went for 1 off his first delivery. Use of the feet, that's going to be gone from Powell. All he needed was a couple steps. It's a great take in the crowd by what looks to be about a 55, if not older, year old gentleman, probably a great cricketer back in his day, maybe even a great cricketer now. But just took it so cleanly. Straight down, 2 hands to it, easy as you like. Next ball for Mark. Grimard bowling. Took his stump out of the ground. Yeah, he's fired up now. Aidan Markram, the captain, the skipper's knock. And also there are some Maori tamoko you can wear. Some Maori tattoo have meanings and history behind their like tribes and whānaus families. Marina Boss says Nate. Nate's also a good example of someone to ask. Welcome in, Nate. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Currently 4 wickets down here now for the West Indies. Very early for you, Nate. Are you working, at work, finished work? What's the go? Or are you just up for a late night live stream? Great work from Mark, from the skipper, getting the wicket when needed. And you can see the disappointment on the face of the other skipper, Rovman Powell, who got himself 11 off 4 deliveries. The West Indies need to be a little bit careful here. They haven't reached the 10 over mark and already 4 down, to try and make sure that they don't get bowled out, because or else then that is almost gifting the South Africans the victory for the third and final T20. I wish this was a 5-match T20 series. We've already seen so much action between these two sides in just the 2 matches we've seen. We've seen the rain delays that we saw for the first match. It was limited to only 11 overs. Then 258 runs, not winning a game for the second, which is still something that, when I say, sounds absolutely absurd, but it did happen. Now, Riley Reefer going to be making his way, or sorry, Raymond Reefer, my apologies, making his way out to the middle. I was thinking of Riley Rizzo, who was going to be batting for the South Africans. It's going to be a dot ball, fielded at short cover. Yeah, the marching band playing away. I'm good, boss. Just woke up 30 minutes ago. Shower, dress, ready for works in an hour. Says Nate there. Yeah, hopefully you do enjoy your day at work. I think you were here when we were talking about bowling the last live stream, Nate. They actually sent me an email saying that they would like me to come in for a job interview today. I haven't got a CV or anything, so that's something, but I don't think they actually want me to have one. Well, they probably want to know some stuff about me, but I don't think it was necessary for me to have one. So I might end up working at a bowling place, but probably not because of the hours that they'll need me to do. It would be over the weekends, and of course, this desk, this camera, this microphone is where my weekends normally reside, and also you guys always popping in for the weekends. I wouldn't ditch you for a job unless I absolutely had to, and at this stage, I don't absolutely have to. I'm currently working as a builder as well, so she'll be right. That's going to be hard work. I think I'm starting next week on a massive job. We're pouring about a slab. I don't even know how many square meters it is, but I'd assume that it is at least, what's a big square meters? How many? Tell you what, we're going to Google square meter calculator. I would assume at a guess that this length of the slab is probably, I'd say about 40 meters. The width of it's probably about 20, somewhere around there. So we are pouring 800 square meters of concrete, somewhere around there, approximately. Maybe more, maybe less. But either way, I have got to put down mesh. Also, I have to put down polythene, tie off all the mesh and everything to do with that. And then also, of course, getting the boxing done. But not the boxing like the 1-2. The boxing is in like part that holds the concrete together. And Getty back into the bowling attack. He did go for 23 off his first over and now has gone for 1 off his first of this over. So a much better start. Rassi van der Dusen and Bavuma both up there in the KFC box having a chat. Yeah, no, weekend can't do. You got commitment right now, but yeah, right now, coffee and toast. And the Kiwi Lads commentary says Blues, Nate. If you do get the chance, Nate, later on or after work or at some stage, I highly recommend checking out the second wicket that fell for the West Indies. I think you enjoy it. I gave Charles a massive intro saying about how great of a player he was, how he was absolutely timing the ball perfectly. Then I made a comment saying, I bet you he'll go out first ball bowled or something like that. And he went out first ball bowled, unfortunately. And I had my hands in my head, or hands on my head, realizing I had jinxed him badly. 110 runs at the moment for the West Indies, so still going at over 10 and over. And Getty, one swinging away. Oh, has he got the wicket? He sure has. Pooran dismissed. 41 off 18. I thought it swung away, but it was because it had a little faint edge of Pooran. He's been given out, and damn will do, boss. Says Blues Nate in there as well. And there a celebration here for the Proteas as now they are halfway through the West Indies lineup. It looks like Pooran wants to have another look at this one. Just ends up seaming away slightly. Yep, there's a thick outside edge. Great take from De Kock. Almost got his head taken off. There's a pun that I could have made there, / joke, but I will not go down that route. All I'm going to say is it involves his last name yeah, never mind. That is going to be a great take from the cock. They are showing that there is an edge involved in that one, so they won't have to review that. And South Africa flags from Rudy there as well. But Ngidi gets in on the action. So his first over went for 22. His second over was 1 run and then the dot. But it is the wicket ball that dot did come off. 41 off 19. Still looking behind him. What's he waiting for? A front foot check? Or is he just really disappointed? I think he's just really disappointed. Jason Holden now coming out to the middle. We didn't get to see this man bat in the last match. We know he's got power, and we know that he's got a lot of skill when it comes to it. I always am very surprised at how they're able to set up a KFC bucket at all of the grounds that are absolutely massive and fit like a whole heap of people in. And Stay Easy Boy says, Roloff, welcome in. No problems, my guy. Welcome anytime. And thanks, Blue, tonight. I'll make more research. And there as well from Young 21. But yeah, just learning, I guess, what ones are, I guess, I was about to say less copyrighted, but that's not the term, but less connected, I guess, to certain families and whatnot. Now, 10.57 current run rate, but they are 5 wickets down, so it may slow down a little bit here. And what is the time, bro? Says Noman. At the moment, for me, it is 5:54 a.m. So it's an early morning start for myself, that is for sure. Now, charging in again, Ngidi after bowling quite a good over. So far, short ball all. It's gone up from Reefer. It does fall safe. It's going to be close to the boundary. Riley Rizzo does well. Keep it in the field of play now, thrown in by Klaasen. Good take from Quinton de Kock, just with the one hand, went straight into it. I actually managed to run 3. That is much better running than we saw a little bit earlier on from the West Indies. We did see them slightly dawdling, and they only got 2 for 1 that could have easily been the 3. But because that ball had a bit of extra height on it, do you sleep in the night? I normally do. Tonight was a little bit different, though, because I knew that I had this live stream, so I only managed to get 30 minutes sleep before it, if not maybe even less. But I will be sleeping after this live stream, then driving to a job interview. It's going to be a quick sing. Oh, no, he just ended up fumbling a little bit there, Klaasen. Would have been close if he had managed to get his hands on the ball cleanly. 1 ball left of Ngidi's over. Only sitting. Oh, was it a no ball, though? Maybe. It is a no ball, so it is going to be now a free hit. And that's a shame because he was actually bowling so well. Yeah, but on an ideal night, I would have liked to have gone to sleep at about 12, but it wasn't the case. I ended up staying up much later than I should have. I'll probably pay for it later on tonight, but luckily I'll be at home later on tonight. That will be after going to the interview and everything like that. So yeah, should be all good. Right, here comes Ngidi for the free hit ball. Still 2 balls remaining in this over now that he did end up going for that front foot no ball. Reefer's eye's going to light up here, getting himself set, hits him in the pad. They will take the single. We'll be disappointed to not get that one away, but it was well bowled by Ngidi. Knew that he was going to be giving himself space. Had to get it to cut back into him just that little bit more. Could have been a wide if he hadn't stepped across the way that he did, but I think there was just premeditation from Ngidi, knowing that he was going to step to leg. Try. Oh, he almost got it on the inside of the knee, though. That would have been a very ugly blow had that happened. There's that little bit of soft kind of, I guess you could call it, what's the best way of describing it? Soft tissue, but also quite a few nerves that go up the inside of your knee, which can cause a lot of pain if they do get hit. Going to be the end of the 11th over, 117 for 5 now for the West Indies. I'm just anticipating a big knock from de Kock in this matchup. I just feel like after that last one, although saying that, I anticipated a big knock from Charles again, and he did end up getting dismissed for a golden duck. Are you going to stream the IPL? We might consider doing some of the games. The risky thing with the IPL is we could end up with a copyright strike, which we would have to wait a couple weeks to get removed, which would kind of suck, but also more just the times when the games are taking place. They're normally on at 3 a.m. And if we're up at 3 a.m., it is normally for either a rugby live stream or something else that we've got on. So we might try and squeeze in some of the games. I know that last year when we did a little bit of the IPL, there wasn't a huge amount of interest in it. Like only a few people were turning up for those live streams, which is always fine at the end of the day, but it does always make it a bit nicer getting up early in the morning and having like a couple people to chat to. Right, Markram back into the bowling attack. He's bowled one over so far. Gonna bowl the first over of the match instead. What is a golden duck? Sorry, first ball wicket. So he did end up going out the first delivery he faced. Oh, they're going to take the single. That is a risky run, but they managed to get through. Reefer, very lucky they went to his end. I think that was because Jason Holder, he's a quick man between the wickets, got long legs, so he makes it look easy. But you're doing very nicely there to get through for the quick single. Markram not in the right position there. He would have been safe anyway, which I think is why he decided to go in there. And 8 people tuned in for that IPL live stream, including 4 mods, says Sebastian there. Yeah, so it was a little bit of a well, I think we still had fun on that live stream, to be fair. But it's always an interesting one, isn't it? Because we could have done a rugby live stream at that same time and had maybe about 50 people tuning in while watching the Gallagher Premiership, for instance. Like, that is a competition I've hardly covered this year, which we need to get more into. Sebastian, welcome in, mate. That we didn't finish the game. We switched to rugby, didn't we? Now that I think about it. What game did we switch to, Sebastian? I'm going to do a Google. I think we switched to rugby. I think that's just refreshed my memory. We decided, hey, there's a rugby game on. We're going to quickly go do that. That is the perfect example of me, I guess, not, what's it called? Getting lured into the peer pressure side of things. We had a lot of people throughout the live streams earlier in the day coming on and being like, hey, do the IPL. We're going to watch. And then none of those people showed up for the IPL. But the moderators, we can always rely on them. The IPL, was it on this channel or was it on the sport channel? It might have been on the sport channel. Yeah, because it's no matching videos on this one. Big love, brothers, says Sebastian. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well as well. Normally I start with that, don't I, rather than get into the small chat straight away. I see that there's a channel doing live commentary of this game that's showing the match with 29,000 people watching. The question is it a legal live stream? I assume so. Actually, no, never mind. It's not. But anyone who does want to actually watch the game, travel with Nano. You can watch this game live on YouTube and actually see all of the action. Kiwi Lads Sport. We're going to do a Google of that one. But that is a good 6. And he's actually ahead of us. I do see. Live streams, Eels, Juventus, Stand and Bang. There it is. The IPL. Oh, no, never mind. We didn't switch. No, we might have actually, sorry, because we might have switched to a main channel video. So we did the CSK versus Kolkata Knight Riders. And we were all happy about it as well. What was the date of that stream? It was on the stream 1 year ago. That's all well and good. What date? 27th of March. I see Paddy was there. Vishal was there. Jay was there. 27th of March. Can I just search 27th of March and it will come? No, I can't. A long time not here. Are you on the live stream? Checking in from Florida. Good weather over here. Yeah, bless. There's Capel. Welcome in again, mate. You have been keeping well. Currently 130 runs for the West Indies at the moment. Not seeing is also on Super Sport. The IPL hopefully is going to schedule when it starts. I'm not too sure where we can watch it here in New Zealand. I assume there will be somewhere, whether that is on Sky or whether that's on Spark Sport. Maybe it could be one of the last licenses that they managed to secure. 'Cause I know that the IPL, they have a lot of games. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I 27th of March. I think we might have switched over to a Curry Cup or something like that, or an IPL live stream, perhaps. The biggest problem I've got is I've done 2,297 live streams on the main channel. That's insane. Well, that's a big shot, though. That's going to be going up. Nice shot. That's 6 runs. 2,000. How many? 2,000. Almost 2,250. 2,250. That's an incredible number. Emil has said, "How's it? I always enjoy your streams and content. Keep it up, bro." Thank you very much, Emil. Hugely appreciate it. We are going to have plenty more cricket in the future as well, including the Ashes. That's going to be an absolutely awesome series to view. And I think that's why I keep on accidentally calling T20 cricket test match cricket, because I'm that excited for that. How many is 2,000? Times it by 1.2 or so, because we'll allow for some sevens live stream. That works out to 2,700 divided by 24 equals. We have in total live stream for over 112 days on this YouTube channel, and that is 112 full 24-hour days. That's a third of a year. And also we have got the Amjin. You went to a different game on Sunday, says Rudy there. And it was 28th of March today, 1 year and 1 day later, says Johannes. Yeah, so I guess that just proves that the IPL started a little bit earlier last year. Nice shot down the ground. Beautiful from Jason Holder, although it doesn't make it to the boundary, cut off by David Miller. They will just get themselves the 2. Proteas going to win. It's like playing against New Zealand. They're not good at cricket, says Roloff. I mean, they're not too bad. I guess they and South Africa have one thing in common, and that is neither of our teams have ever won a World Cup. So does that mean if we haven't won it and you haven't won it, then we're just as bad as each other, Roloff? Just an idea. Just saying. The statistics and whatnot. Sebastian, question for you, sir. All ugly. Jason Holder there. You're looking forward to the European Champions Cup? Because I know that the Harlequins have not had an easy draw at all in the Champions Cup. They have to play the Stormers, don't they, in the upcoming game, even though they had to play the Sharks in the regular. Oh, yeah, it did hit the helmet. And found out we did Sharks versus Edinburgh in the USC on the main channel. How'd that stream do, Sebastian? Did it do more than 3? I'm sure it did more than 300 views. I can tell you that much now. Sharks, Edinburgh. Man, you're so speedy, Sebastian. How did you get to that? Like, how did you manage to find that in that short amount of time? I'm going to Google Sharks versus Edinburgh. Here we go. Sharks versus Edinburgh. 1.7K. That's pretty decent for a URC live stream. So I guess it makes sense of why we transferred over. You can see how underprepared I was for the stream, though, because I had Twickenham in behind me, and also I think that's the Aviva on the other side. The DHL Derby, Sharks versus Harlequins. True. And I'm not allowed to say Sharks, says Roloff. I think no matter what, it's going to be like the Sharks games, and they're going to be very entertaining. In fact, they only play one for the round of 16, don't they? If I've got that correct. 12.5 overs down. One last ball. That's a loose shot from Holder. And it's taken. He had one hand that went off the bat, just overswung it, and it was a bit closer to him than he anticipated. Nokia gets his second wicket for the final ball of his third over, and the South Africans now find themselves only 4 more wickets to get with 7 overs remaining. This is a risky time here for the West Indies, and Holder's frustrated, as you can see. Going to have to bowl well. Then saying that they're still going at over 10 runs and over, which is weird to say that they have to bowl well when they might have 200 on the board. With that short boundary, who knows how it's going to end up going. Nicely taken by, I believe that was David Miller. Safe as you like down the ground. Yeah, he tried to just slam that one back over the head of Nokia, trying to use the pace of the ball. It didn't work in his favour. And Holder's thrown his wicket away. I believe next is going to be Roston Chase. Now, that man can hit a long ball, so expect big things. In fact, they may even have someone else, sorry, before Roston Chase. He's about to come across the bottom. No, they do go Roston Chase. Okay, they have changed the order just a little bit because I believe, yeah, Romario Shepherd will be coming in just a little bit later on. But I guess other than Stormers Harlequins, ladies and gentlemen, who watch the Champions Cup, I know that there are a few of you watching. Which game are you most excited for in the Champions Cup? For me, I mean, the game between the Bulls and Toulouse is looking quite interesting on the Monday morning, but also Ulster versus Leinster, the Irish derby, should be quite entertaining. And then the Sharks play Munster, don't they? I believe that's all the South African teams covered in there. So it's pretty much, there's quite a few URC games. I just realized that I only listed 2 URC games, but that is kind of a few. A few's normally more than 2, isn't it? Like 3. Like if I had a few hot dogs, I probably had more than 2. I had I ate a few ham sandwiches today. Don't know why. Just it was ham there and I ordered it online. I was like, that's all right. That sounded weird. I should explain that further. I got groceries online and I got some ham in the groceries. I didn't just go to like a random website that's like, hey, you want to buy some ham? And then I bought it. But and when are the Ashes starting? Says Yanlu. I believe I'll quickly go here. Ashes 2023. First one's going to be on the 16th of June. Last one finishes on the 1st of August. So that is going to be a month and a bit that I'm going to absolutely love. And also, apart from Stormers Quins, I'm looking forward to Leinster Ulster and Sharks Munster, says Sebastian. Man after my own heart, Sebastian. We think alike, me and you. Do you like bowling, Sebastian? Like 10-pin bowling? I've ended up with a job interview tomorrow for a bowling place. I didn't even apply. They were just like, you should come in for an interview because I met them the other day when we went bowling as a team for cricket. I was a 6 for 141, says Rudy there. Projected score at the moment, 212. Oh, we're at the stage. In fact, we normally do this earlier, but we're going to do it now. Predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for how many runs the West Indies are going to end up with. I am going to go first. I'm going to go with 216. Boom, put it in there. That's too many. That might be a bit too many, actually. I've got a bit excited. But everyone, do let me know your score predictions, how many runs they can get. They've only got 4 wickets in hand, remembering, which is why my score might be a little bit too much because I got a bit excited. For some reason, 216 was on my mind. Now so far, dot 111. If I could change my answer, I would probably go with something around the 195 mark. And it looks like a couple of you guys have gone with that. Jacques has gone 178. Is that bowled out, Jacques? Out of curiosity, it doesn't count in the prediction or anything, but is that West Indies bowled out for 178? And 190 says Yanlu. 198 says Rudy. Another dot ball from Parnell. This is great bowling from the Proteas in a time where these two want to get on with the game. Hasn't quite ended up that way. 185 says Bandit. And I'm terrible at bowling. When my mates invite me, I only go for the drink, says Sebastian. That's fair enough. Oh, another short ball. Single down the ground. Very good bowling from Parnell. Only 4 runs off that over. Probably yes, lol. There's Jacques there. West Indies 198 all out, says Cornelius, and 180 from Gordon McIntyre. And there as well. And is that bowled out, Gordon, or is that just only reaching it? Because to be fair, they may not be bowled out and may only end up with 35 runs, depending on the bowling attack. And at the moment, I mean, Parnell's still got one more. He's found his rhythm. And Getty's done well. Rabada's still available. Nokia's got one remaining. That's not an easy bowling attack to get through. It's actually pretty much the test match bowling lineup that the South Africans go or would go with, other than maybe Parnell, who we haven't seen in a test match for them recently. Anyway, has he had a test cap before, Parnell? Now, next over, about to begin. I'll play down the ground. And how many gutter balls when you go 10-pin bowling? Oh, what a shot down the ground. 4 runs for Chase getting his first boundary. Last time when we went bowling, which was only a few days ago, the first time round, I think I got about 102 or 98 or something like that. I think I was just short of the 100 actually, but there were a lot of gutter balls in there. My problem is similar to my cricket bowling, I always bowl a wide first ball. So a majority of the time, I'd gutter ball the first one, and then I'd end up either getting a spare or getting about 8 or 9 pins on the second go round. I think I got a strike though. Yeah, I got one strike. Roston Chase doesn't get it, taken, and that is going to be another wicket. And Giddy gets his second. At the moment, the South Africans just sharing around the wickets. Two for Nokia, two for Ngidi, two for Rabada. I think maybe just the one. No, Parnell hasn't actually got one. Markram was the other bowler. Did get the wicket. And anywhere near a 300, nowhere near it. Although if they do end up randomly giving me this job at the bowling place, I guess I could get better. And I think I get cheaper bowling as well. But it's funny how it came about. Pretty much, it's just because she walked away from the counter and said, "Do you want to put the numbers or the names in?" And just typed them in. And then she was like, "You want a job?" And I was like, "Huh?" I was just helping. And then, yeah, she took my email down. And because I have a YouTube channel, they said that I've got a better chance of getting it because I'm a bit of a social media whiz, was the comment. 158 all out, says Rudy. What happened to your 198, Rudy? You're already sacking them a little bit. And Amelia's gone 200 200 all out and 203 for 9. Here we go, coming in at, they're getting low though. Coming in at number 9, Mario Shepherd. Couple more wickets in the next couple overs. West Indies are in some real trouble here. Short ball goes after it, close to the outside edge. And Getty getting some nice pace on the delivery. 141 Ks for that one. Like they're saying, trying to send it away to the fence with the first delivery. Romario Shepherd going aggressive early. Roston Chase got that one wrong. Raymond Reefer can still bat, though, so that is one benefit that they've got. But South Africa seems like as the day has gone on a little bit further, as we get closer to nightfall, just seems to be skidding on quite nicely. And just looking at who they have left to bat, yeah, I don't expect a massive innings from Cottrell. He's a massive man, but I don't think he's got a massive innings in terms of his batting performance in him. It's going to be nicely worked away to the league side. They should manage to get back for a comfortable 2. Thrown by Riley Rizzo, and that will just be the 2 runs taken. 151 for 7 at the moment. So looks like they're repositioning. Nick Minute all out for 160. Tell you what, there's a chance. I think at the moment, to be honest, the best guess, I believe, is probably, who did I say I think it's actually probably Jacques, to be honest. At the moment, Jacques, he's sitting not too badly with that 178. I think that might be relatively close to it. And mid-1980s, used to be manager South Africa 10-pin bowling centres, Joburg, Pretoria, Durban, Secunda versus D. Bill Park, Port Elizabeth. Saw 300 on TV, South Africa versus Taiwan match. Are Taiwan good at bowling? I've never actually seen who are the big international bowlers. Like in terms of who's the best in the world for their country. Who's the top 5? In fact, we'll Google that because I feel like that's a lot of work I'm putting on you there. We'll have a quick Google while they're still ticking over their singles. 10-pin bowling, top 5 best countries. United States, the women's medal table, 16 for South Korea, Philippines with 6, and Sweden with 7. That's for the women's side of things. The men's side of things seem a bit harder to find. And also, when I was 11 years old, I had my first cricket match in primary school and ended up hitting my own wickets with my bat. Never been so embarrassed. Pretty much stuck to skateboard after that, Justin. I have a story that I don't think I've shared on a live stream. No, I might have back in the day, but back when I played cricket at primary school, I actually got a certificate in the assembly, which was a rarity big time because they hadn't really done it before. But I got a certificate from the principal for taking an outstanding catch in the field, and it was a full-on diving catch. I smacked my head on the ground really hard. So then when they were like, "It's your turn to bat," because it used to be if you catch the ball, you're batting, and I was still sitting there kind of going like this, going, "No, someone else can have a go." But yeah, I got the certificate from the principal because he was out playing cricket with us, which I feel like is something that you only get at some schools. Like the principal at our primary school, maybe it's because we did have a smaller primary school of only 100 and something students, but like he knew everyone's name, knew what sports they played, everything like that. It's going to be whipped away to the leg side. Shepherd gets another single, sitting 4 off 4. USA, Canada, Germany, Sweden, Japan, indoor recreation, especially where cold outside, snow, etc., says Gordon. Rabada currently sitting 2 wickets, 15 runs off his overs, bowling extremely well, having the best economy actually in this match as well as the second T20. Fortain's been one of the more expensive bowlers, the spinner. He did actually only go for 3 runs of his first over as well, which is why it's a little bit surprising. Parnell not too bad with an 8.7. He's still got 1 over remaining. Now, Rabada, can he pick up another wicket here, a refit? Oh, he's gone after it. Has he got enough, though? I don't think he... Oh, yes, it's over the top of the head of the man down the ground who was Parnell. That will be the 6 runs for Raymond Reefer. Like I mentioned, this man can still bat. He's got the power. When he gets it right, certainly sends it a long way. Yeah, just out of the middle of the bat. Sends it down the ground. 81 metres, so would have gone to the boundary on a majority of cricket fields around. Now, how does Rabada fire back? Outside off stump. Nice drive. Gone out to the man at deep point. They will get the one again. So Shepherd back on strike. The man who is at the moment doing very well in the singles department. Sounds like a dating bio, doesn't it? Doing well in the singles department. Although, how do you do well in the singles department? I guess there are ways, aren't there? Currently 6:20 a.m. New Zealand time, which does mean it's 7:20 local in South Africa. No run taken. Oh, he sold him up the river. It's hit the wickets. That's going to be out. And Rafer, I believe, will now be dismissed. Shepherd yelled loud no, but he left it too late. He let his teammate get halfway down the pitch. And yeah, they're going to go upstairs to check it. That was actually very well done, though, from South Africa. He ran in David Miller rather than just straight away, I guess, straight away throwing it and possibly missing. He got a little bit closer, ran in, and then underarmed it. Took his time, but he had plenty of time to work with. This is going to be out by about a metre by the looks of it. Yes, it is a metre out. And that is the last, what some people would say, the last set batsman for the West Indies now gone. They will find themselves 8 down. Cottrell, I believe he is going to be the next batsman who makes his way out to the middle, but that is a massive mistake from the West Indies. Great work in the field, though, from David Miller. And it is going to be out. Rafa gone, 27 off 18. That is probably the chance of getting 200. Absolutely gone. Has anyone knocked the umpire out with the cricket bat? Like accidental let's go or let go of his bat? I don't think an umpire's been hit by a bat, but the umpires certainly have been hit by a ball before. And even like, that's the thing. Even this year, my first year back into cricket, we have had twice that the opposition umpire has been hit in the head with the cricket ball. One of them was because of the uneven bounce that does come in from one of the grounds that we played at. The other one, it was just a rocket ball. It was actually in one of those T20s, and I got it on footage with the Go. Well, I actually didn't quite get it on footage with the GoPro, but if I did, I feel like having it from so close where you can actually see who it was that got hit. I feel like I didn't want to do that. But instead, we've actually got this sideline camera from my mum when she was recording. So I'll probably have that in the video instead. But yeah, it was a rough shot, hit him square in the head, and Rabada was giving it out for that one. He was looking like the umpire there, just waiting to see that one come up with out on the screen. Now they are 8 down for 162. Nicely whipped from Alzari Joseph. Now, this man can hit a long ball as well. That is one benefit that they've got for the West Indies, but I don't know whether he can afford to go in the air here. You kind of got to hit it along the ground. Currently 16 overs down, 163 for 8 in this contest. The question is, will South Africa succumb to the same fate involving losing early wickets, or losing wickets in quick succession instead, I should say? And the Windies will be bowled out for 195. There's Jacobus for the prediction. Currently 163. Have we still got Jacques here? Still in the chat, Jacques? Do let me know, because it's getting closer and closer to your 178 all out. You might be correct. 4 overs remaining, though. If they can get away with anywhere between 6 and 8 runs, I'd say, per over here. If not, maybe pushing for a bit more. That'd be decent from the West Indies, because these two can't be expected to score 10 plus runs and over. Not against this bowling attack. Nokia bowling his final over. Rabada's still got one. Ngedi's got one. Parnell's got one. I believe that will be the last 4 bowlers, all very good at their express pace. Although they might consider Markram or Fortain rather than Ngedi. But I think they will go Ngedi, get that pace going down there up against the tail enders. Here comes Nokia. Just jogs in, but bowls very quickly. Whipped off the pads nicely. Well fielded by Klaasen. Keeps it to 1. Nokia wouldn't mind getting himself his 3rd wicket. And get in. Internet is a bit slow. Says Jacques there. That's all good. It's good to still have you here. See, that's the thing. As a Kiwi, I learned today that Fortain is how you say the spinner's name. Whereas if I was to say it in a Kiwi accent, you'd probably go something like Fortune, like I mentioned. Nokia's name's another perfect example here. Oh, example. Example is not how you say example, is it? That's a little bit wide from Nokia. But yeah, you'd probably say Notchia, which some people probably wouldn't get hugely offended at you if that's how you said it, rather than Nokia. But yeah, just a fun one. Or Nort G. Nort G is probably the very Kiwi way of saying it, which is nowhere near how to say it. Current run rate, 10.10. Nokia running in again, and that's going to be the slower delivery. Oh, there's another yes, no. Now they do take that run, a single every day of the week there. Seems like maybe Shepherd, one of his downfalls is the calling between the wickets. He keeps on saying no. He must be a little bit maybe worried he's not quick enough. South Africa overrate slow, or is it just me? No, it is slow. I've noticed, like when we did the first 8 overs and it took 50 minutes. No, that's incorrect. It was the first. Oh, it might have been the first 8 overs in 50 minutes or somewhere around there, or 40 minutes. I think it might have been actually. Yeah, first 8 overs in 40 minutes. Oh, a short ball. That will be another wide. No, it's a dot ball actually. Alzari Joseph can't quite believe it. I thought that one drifted down leg just a little bit. Right, Joseph sitting 2 off 4 at the moment. If he has about 3 more dot balls, then he's looking like my strike rate, which is very slow. But it's improving slowly, although the season's over, so that's a little bit sad that we don't get any more cricket being played. Although I'm excited to play from start to finish next year. That's going to be the fun part. That's a great drive. Going out to the man in the deep. And old mate misses the ball. Bat goes flying. Bowler ducked, but the umpire didn't duck. Says Blues Nate. I mean, maybe there's a clip somewhere that it's happened. I want to say that a player maybe has been hit accidentally with a bat. Surely at some point in their cricketing careers. Now Shepherd. 6 off 7. Oh, whips it off the pads. Nicely done. We'll get another single. And that will end the over. Nokia finishes out his bowling figures of 2 for 36. Sounds about right before you mentioned that last pronunciation of Nokia's surname. Says Jacques. Yeah. I feel like that's the thing. That's why I've spent so much time studying how to say South African names for like the rugby and the cricket side of things, other than, I guess, Fortain was one that snuck through the radar for myself, but everyone else I think I could say relatively well. But yeah, I hate mispronouncing names because it just seems like you're not putting in the effort to learn them, if that makes sense. Like I've spent hours and hours looking at South African names, Samoan, Fijian, all those names that are quite tricky to say. And but bowler got the wicket. Does the second umpire call it? The umpire out cold. I mean, my dad actually had a teammate, I believe, who got hit in the head with the ball after the batsman hit it. It went up off his head and it was caught. So it was a wicket. The man didn't remember it. And he actually ended up with a seam indentation in his head from where the ball hit him. But they got the wicket. Getting now. It's a little bit down the leg side. Caught the pad. Well done from De Kock to slow that ball down. They run the two. Oh, slammed into the wicket by De Kock. Bit of frustration there from him as he wasn't able to take that ball cleanly. Laughing about it as well. It's going to be not out. You can say Nokia with a rolling R, says Cornelius. Norkia. Is it Norkia? Nor, Norkia? It's quite hard to put an R in there, isn't it? Nokia. Like I can roll my R's, but it doesn't want to roll it there. Not that much R though. Nokia. Only a little one. Doesn't need to go. Shepherd. 7 off 9. Still ticking over these runs. Oh, slow ball. He didn't like that. 170 at the moment they're sitting on. Getting close to that 178. What other predictions did we have? We had 178. We had 185 from Bandit. 180 from Gordon. Those are probably the most likely at the moment. 190 from Yanlu, which was the next one up, I believe, after that. This West Indies, I'd say that 190 is probably the most likely if they don't lose these 2 wickets. But if they do lose these 2 wickets, then they'll probably end up around that 175 or maybe 180 if they're lucky. It all depends on when the wicket falls. Yep, that's going to be another one down the leg side. Just straying. That's going to be racing almost for 4. He's knocking it all the way almost to the boundary there. But I believe they will get back for the 2-leg, boys. No, in fact, they've called it back. That hit him in the side of the knee. I got hit in the side of the knee during a T20 not too long ago. Man, that stings. Like when you get it right in that part, and Norkia. Oh, that's easy. Norkia. 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 Yeah. Norkia. Norkia. Yeah sounds like you've just like stubbed your toe, when you're like, yeah. And then you normally follow it with a different word, but Norkia. Norkia. Why do I sound like Dracula? Dracula. Norkia. Where's my accent changes? I get an accent somehow. Norkia. Norkia. That's going to be now hit to the leg side, straight out to the man at deep mid wicket. And that is going to keep them ticking over quite nicely, moving up to 173 now. Luckily, he's bowled his 4 overs, for Norkia. Giddy. Like they've mentioned, he went for about 22 runs in his first over. Now he's sitting at 241 of 3.4. Quite a defensive field at the moment for them, but I guess they're gifting the singles if they want them rather than trying to make them hit over the top. Short mid wicket comes in now. Azari Joseph ducks under that one. Might not be a wide. I think it's just going to be a dot ball there. A little bit disappointed, Joseph, but 1 ball left of Ngiddy's over. Like they've said, Pan now remaining and also Rabada. We're looking to close out this one maybe with 4 wickets in his hands. He is very lucky. And Afrikaans is Dutch origin or orientated. Traditionally very guttural. I struggled really badly to read that, Gordon, didn't I? I just said Ngidi, 22 off his first over, come back and almost only gone for 22 runs off his next three. Okay, they're dropping deep mid wicket from mid wicket. Here he goes. Ngidi outside off stump. Alzari Joseph stand and deliver over the top of the man at mid off. So that will be 4 runs off Ngidi. He goes for 45 runs, got the 2 wickets. And West Indies sitting 177 for 8. We're going to need some quick fire wickets here, Jacques. And also Gordon, I think, had 180, didn't he? Yeah, so what did I say? I said 216. I got really excited, and then I said if I was actually doing an accurate one, I went about 194, but I didn't write it down. You had to believe me. We got a replay just in case, but yeah, I think I said 194 was a more realistic. I don't know why I went 216. I think it was just a number that I had in my head that I was like, that sounds good, but they were never getting there. Now Parnell back into the bowling attack. Currently, economy of 8.7. And now is your Wagner. Now Wagner says Emil. I think it's just the kind of shortened Kiwiified version. It's like someone, it's going to be hit down the ground. I don't think he's got it all, Shepherd, but it's going to be well fielded. Nice rally throw there. Running 2. They do manage to get there. What's another game? I mean, you could look at someone like Labuschagne, but really Labuschagne for the Australians in the cricket. It's by Marnus Labuschagne rather than Marnus Labuschagne. And speak from back of the throat, unlike you use your tongue, close to front of mouth touching teeth. Nochia. Is that a little bit better? Nochia. That's a great shot from Shepherd. He's worked it away to the boundary beautifully. Parnell's gone for back-to-back boundaries. His figures may not look so good at the end of this innings. West Indies still managing to tick over at about that 10 and over currently on the run rate. So they could be setting a 200 run target. Imagine if they do get to 216. Wouldn't that be great? But the West Indies, they'll still have to try and defend it. And last match, I mean, any side who scores 258 and has that chase down is certainly a little bit of a confidence breaker. Yebo, oh my gosh, you got it. So it's Nochia. Oh, sorry, not Nochia. It feels a lot more natural if I do it a few more times, like with the R of who's someone with an R, Rabada and Nochia. Here we go. Get in there. Well fielded by Noch. No, I can't do it when he's actually there now. I felt the pressure as if he was watching me, but Nochia doing very nicely. Fielding that one par now so far. That one actually that he hit out to the coverway didn't go for 4. That's a big shot from Alzari Joseph. And that will go away for 6. Well, that's me done, Sharks. That's a lot of people done because he's gone up to 190 now. That's knocked off. We're going to show them because I'll give you guys shout outs on the way. That's knocked off Jacques. That's knocked off Bandit. It's knocked off Gordon. That's all at the moment. But we're close to knocking off a few other people in terms of the predictions. 93 meter 6 foot Alzari Joseph. I mentioned it when this man made his way to the middle. He can hit a long ball when he gets it right. Water got to be good for you, doesn't it? I felt like I drank a lot there, and I drank like hardly any. Oh, it's going to be just glided out to the man at deep point, and even got a wicket off his forehead. What a catch! Bet that umpire who knocked out, or better than umpire who knocked out. Says Nate, and my 100 is up. That is true, although now they move to 191. That crosses off Jan Lu there. There he is. Who's that female player? She's a South African cricketer, isn't she, Jan Lu? Is she the South African captain, I believe? Not wrong, 203, says Nate. Could be close. And like old movie My Fair Lady, when Posh Gent taught Flower Girl Cleaning Maid, talk fancy like, says Gordon there. Oh, that's a wide. So Parnell now has to bowl another. Shepherd sitting on 17 off 15. Joseph sitting on 14 off 9. So both men ticking over at more than a run a ball here, which means that 200 could still be on the cards for the West Indies. Could they get 200? No, 216 is a bit much, I think, unless this goes for 6. Because we've got to remember, Rabada's bowling the last over. So he's going to be a very handy option for them. Parnell round the wicket. That will be a wide again. If he bowls 5 of those, we're getting a little bit closer. And yes, there's Yanlu. Parnell sitting on for 42. So actually one of the only South African bowlers who hasn't been able to pick up a wicket was by the Women's World Cup semi-final, Proteas versus England women this year. Here's Yanlu. 203 from Nate. It's looking close. I think I said that the last time I read that out, didn't I? Like a broken record. Now, one more ball. Parnell. Oh, it's off the edge. Oh, it's dropped by De Kock. He'll be disappointed with that. That should have been taken. They do manage to get through for the single. That's the end of the over, De Kock. He's sad. And also, we have got their review guesses 206 from Gordon. In fact, we will let everyone, before this last over starts, predict how many you think they're going to finish up with the West Indies. Anyone who did predict it originally will, of course, get the message up on the screen. But let's see who gets closest. Last over, how many they're going to end up with. I'm going to go they get 202. 202. That's what we'll go with. And yes, I think De Kock get close to 100, Norman. And also, we have got the what about pitch? Is it good for De Kock for a ton? I mean, it depends because Charles, who got himself a ton in the last match, got out for a golden duck. 198 from Daz, 210 from Yanlu. Okay, so going with the big one, 205 from Jacques. Okay, we're getting a few. Nate, I assume you're sticking with 203. But if it is close to 203, of course, you get first dibs on your message up on the screen for the original prediction. Right, 1 over remaining. Here comes Kagiso Rabada. That's it. Very high from Shepherd. Extremely high. It's going to have snow on it by the time it comes down. It's dropped for class, and it was going to be very tough. And reckon we'll pass those, says Nate. Although if that had been a wicket, might have been a lot more trickier. He is apologising. It was never going to be easy. That one went absolute age in the air. De Kock can't really say much to him because he put down a catch in the over beforehand. But that one took a long time to come down. Normally they have a timer for those ones and just ended up going out in front of him, Klaassen. Oh, the catch just knocked the finger, unfortunately, for him. Now, Rabada, big full toss. That hurts more because Shepherd's just smacked him for 6. And as a bowler, when you feel that, makes you angry. Anochia stares Alfie. And does winning, yes, get you to send a ham sambo, says Gordon. I mean, I ate all the ham. It was best before tomorrow or the next day, I think it was. So I had to make sure I had plenty of it. But the most I can offer you is a message up on the screen at this stage and a game of bowling when you come to New Zealand, if I get the job. Shot. Wow, that's power. And that's going to be 4 more runs. That moves them up to 206. My 216 ain't looking too bad here. In fact, it's looking kind of good. 3 balls left. Shepherd smacking the ball around the park at the moment. The scoreboard hasn't updated now, as look at that, 206. Shepherd moves up to 30 off 19. And this has all happened because that catch has been dropped. So that will really frustrate the bowler. Oh, that's gone up again. This time, that's going to be another 6 runs. 212 they move up to now. Your 216 is looking good. Who knew? Hey? Partnership 51 off 24. Very good partnership between these two. And that is making it towards that defendable total. Around that 220 mark if they keep on going at this rate. And Rabada, he'll be frustrated because he had such good bowling figures heading into this last over. If that catch had been taken, he would have been 3 for about 22. But now instead, they've scored an extra 20 runs. The same man who got dropped has now gone bang. 3 in a row. Rabada's trying to decide what he wants in his field. Parnell's having a chat with him. He's going to try a wide Yorker. Just don't put it too wide, perhaps. right? One more boundary off these last two balls, and we could be exactly right with 216. It would be myself who gets the message up on the screen. Wouldn't that be nice? I don't think that happens very often. Shot. Nah, it's going to be more than 216 because that's six more. That's a great shot from Shepherd. Sitting now on 42 off 21, moving up to 218. This is a massive, massive last over here. And I don't want to keep going back to it, but I kind of have to. If Klaassen had taken that catch, this over could have been a whole different story. We would have been seeing probably Alzadi Joseph trying to swing just like this, and maybe he would have been able to connect this cleanly. But Romario Shepherd has gone bang, 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 93 meters down the ground. Fantastic shot from the number 9 batsman, I believe he came at for this match. One ball left. It's going to be whipped away. Looks like they do want to take on the 2. Joseph will be running to the danger end. He will get back comfortably, and that makes the total for the West Indies 220 that they do have to try and chase down now the Proteas. So looking through at our predictions, ladies and gentlemen. It was me. You know what? We'll go with the next closest. I feel like I get enough time on the screen. You guys can see me at the end of the day. So the next closest for everyone's predictions was actually Blues Nate with 203 for 9. That was his original guess. Of course, we did have 210 from Jan Lubrand here as the revised guess. We had 206 for the revised guess from Gordon as well. But yeah, Blues Nate original score. Oh, we also had 205, I should say, from Jacques. But yeah, we'll go with Blues Nate because he was the closest originally. What a strong finish by the West Indies. Yeah, and I mean, it's worked out extremely well for them, getting up to that 220 mark. That is maybe a defendable total. That now puts it up to 11 runs required per over from the get-go. Is it raining there in Joburg at the moment, or is it just getting relatively dark? It might be harder to see this ball in the second innings, but we know that De Kock's going to have a big one. Hendricks, Riley Rizzo, Markram, Miller. They've got a good lineup. Parnell may be batting at about 6, though, which is maybe when it starts getting a little bit weaker for the Proteas. They will be heavily reliant on this top order to get the job done. So they pretty much need De Kock out for less than 20. If they can do that, I've got a strong chance of being able to possibly get themselves the win. Okay, Rabada's saying that he thinks that the end of the match or the end of the innings, they really took it away from the South Africans, and now they have to bat a lot better if they do want to get themselves the victory. Oops, that is the wrong phone. That does not need charge. Go like this. There we go. Apparently they have got a DJ in attendance. Doing a bit of the, what do you call it? Doing a bit of the spinning the discs. 221 should be doable for South Africa. Yeah, after that last run chase, anything is doable for South Africa. I mean, chasing down 258 with 7 balls remaining as well. If they had done that and they were allowed to use those last 7 balls, perhaps they could have ended up with the highest ever T20 score by an international side. The Proteas had to bat good, well, and not lose wickets, says Alfie. Exactly right. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more cricket coming in the near future. Also, if you enjoy South Africa, they are going to be playing in the Sevens this weekend. The Blitzbox back in action. We will be covering that. Champions Cup, we're going to see South African sides in action. We are covering that. And also, we have got Super Rugby alongside it that we are doing this weekend as well. It's going to be a busy one, but it should be a very exciting one indeed. The best of the bowlers in terms of the economy was Nokia in the end. 9 runs per over. Rabada started off going into the last over. He had the best economy. Ending the last over, he had the worst economy out of any South African bowler. He did pick up those 2 first wickets that were crucial, but with the finish that the West Indies were able to get, perhaps it might just be enough. And if I can recall correctly, this was where the 438 game was against Australia. And Proteas bottled it with their depth or their deft bowling. My opinion, gettable total, going to be tough, says Jacques. Yeah, definitely top orders game for the South Africans. Because if De Kock starts the way that he did in the last match, gets himself a quick fire 50, quick fire 100 of about 50 or so balls. Like, that's going to be huge for the South Africans' confidence. And that's already quite a few of the runs on the board. And I believe that is how Quinton de Kock will start this matchup when he gets out there to bat. Although the slight problem is he hasn't had the best day in the field. And that's kind of a big difference between that first match. He was doing everything right in the first game when it came to fielding and when it came to his wicket keeping. This game, he dropped a catch. He had a couple fumbles. I'm wondering whether or not that will play on his mind at all. It shouldn't. But as a professional athlete, all you need is just that one little thing in the back of the mind where you're thinking about something else, and then you do end up finding yourself dismissed. Quinton going to smash back-to-back hundreds. That is also a very high possibility in this one. In fact, while we are at it, while we're at the break, we're going to go on to the TAB and check the odds for how this match sits currently. Because I would say that with that last little spurt from the West Indies, they probably are now favourites. Yep, $1. Oh, no, that's the opening partnership. West Indies, $1.55 favourites. South Africa are $2.25 underdogs. Interestingly enough, they don't have actually many options to be able to bet on for this game, because I was going to say, I was going to check to see what Quinton de Kock's chances of getting the 100 were going to end up being. And do you think maybe he wants to make up for his fumbles by superb batting? That's the other way that it could end up going. Oh, here we go. Top run scorer for South Africa, Quinton de Kock, is $4. Highest opening partnership, no, not that one. Runs at the full, no, not that one. We just want the one that says whether or not de Kock gets his 100. Right, South Africa batting. Quinton de Kock to score a 50 is actually, it's actually more likely not to happen, according to the TAB odds, interestingly enough. But yeah, some players end up, when they play badly in the field, they play better with the bat. Other players, when they play badly in the field, it affects their batting drastically. But with that short boundary to the league side, I believe that will be for the first over. He'll look to swat it away that way if he's getting his cross-bat shots well. Be smacking boundaries every day of the week. And then, yeah, as long as he gets a good start, that's the main thing for Quinton de Kock. Gets a few big shots away and then see how he goes from there. Okay, Quinton de Kock to get a 50 continues to go down in the betting odds. So I think people have realized that $3 for him to get 50 seems a little bit too generous from the TAB. And is there anything else that it can tell us about it in terms of if to score 100? Doesn't look like they've got that option on there. But Quinton de Kock to be the top run scorer is paying $3.40. Be interesting though to see how he does. Going against South Africa, Chase again, highest score on this. To be honest, after that last game, anything's possible for the Proteas. I've said that now multiple times in this game, but yeah, the way that they played in that first one, like, how do you beat a side that's going to chase down 258? It's just very difficult to do. Some would say near impossible, but impossible, but probable. What was I saying? I'm not sure. I don't know where my mind was going there. I got distracted. That's how I went out in one of my games, unfortunately. I don't know why I did this while betting, but talking about Quinton de Kock and whether or not he has anything lingering in the back of his mind, I had the situation when I was batting. I was tapping away. It was a slow, sluggy innings just because the ball was still quite new. Every time I wanted to start speeding up my innings, the batsman at the other end would go out. So I had to go back to defensive just a little bit while they got their eye in. But, like, it was at that stage of just before I went out. It was the ball that I got out. For some reason, before that ball was bowled, I was trying to calculate how many wickets down we were, which is not a smart thing to do while batting. So I was going, right up. So we've lost our opener. So that's 1, 2, 3, about 4 down. And then I ended up going out that ball. So don't let other things get on your mind while the bowler's running in, is the motto of the story there. Because I did, and it cost me my wicket, unfortunately. As it's still raining in Christchurch, New Zealand versus Sri Lanka match abandoned without a ball bowled. It's a shame, isn't it? because I was looking forward to seeing that game. It was actually going to be a nice afternoon one to be able to watch, but just unfortunately did not happen in that case. But I'm just looking through at when the next time these two sides will be in action. It's actually a little while after the series is over. We didn't cover the ODIs. Wrong thing. I typed it in wrong. There we go. International cricket. When is the next time we get to see either of these teams in action? South Africa play the Netherlands on the 1st of April in an ODI versus the Netherlands. So, yeah, 2-match series for that one. When's the next time we see the West Indies? I think the West Indies actually have quite a long break now till the next time that they play. Anything scheduled in for the Windies? I'm up to the late April stage and I'm still not seeing their names. Still not seeing them. Still not seeing them. I'm up to May. I'm up to the Ashes. The ICC. Oh, that's rough. These Aussies have the ICC final of the World Test Championship 1 week before the Ashes starts. So surely England have a warm-up game in there as well, you'd like to think. They actually play in a one-off test up against Ireland the week prior. So I guess that's how they're trying to get round that one. New Zealand once again have a series up against England after the ODIs and the T20s. Yeah, I don't see the West Indies in the schedule until after September because that is where that schedule goes up to. So yeah, this might be the last time we see the West Indies in quite some time, which is a shame. I like watching the West Indies. They had one of the ODIs abandoned without a match or without a ball bowled. And the ODI series between the West Indies and South Africa ended in a draw. The Test series ended with South Africa being victorious. So they managed to get themselves the 2-0 series win. This game, it's all on the line for the T20s. The winner of this takes out the series. So, in a way, if the West Indies won it, you'd say it's an overall tied tour because South Africa won the Test, West Indies and South Africa won the ODIs, and then West Indies would have won the T20. But it looks like they are now out on the field, ready to go for this second innings. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are up at 7 a.m. at the moment. We cover the IPL matches starting from the 31st of March. Not many of them coding. We might try and squeeze a couple in if we can, but with the schedule that we've got at the moment, with all the sports that we've got on, plus I want to cover some more of the NRL this year, which I haven't been able to just yet. So that will probably get slotted in there somewhere in the next couple of weeks. I think it will make it a little bit too hard to do the IPL as well. But we might consider it. It's just whether or not you guys do end up watching those IPL live streams or whether I am there by myself having a bit of a chat. I just showing Miller's run out. He did very well there. Target is 121 of 100. Oh, sorry, 221 off 120 balls. 11.05 runs per over. Bit of dew there, so we'll slide on, make it a little bit more tricky for the South Africans, perhaps. But Quinton de Kock, he'll want to start out very quickly, get those runs on the board early, and then relieve some of the pressure from his teammates. That's the big thing. I guess the main thing to remember, the AFL is actually also on. I like to cover a game of the AFL with George and maybe Isaac as well, and Daniel. We'll get all four of us on an AFL live stream trying to work out what is going on. But more than likely, that would be an AFL live stream that we hardly talk about AFL and we more just have a bit of a catch up. Currently, I would say, in fact, we'll have this as a question, ladies and gentlemen. Bigger opening run partnership between the West Indies, who managed to get to 31, or bigger opening run partnership between the two South Africans? That is the question. And I feel like, was it 39 that they've got to try and beat? I feel like 39 is definitely doable for the South Africans. Definitely if Quinton de Kock gets off to a flying start. It's just whether or not he goes out early. It's going to be the big determining factor. And in fact, I almost think that that could determine who wins this game. Even though he's got Rizzo behind him, he's got Mark from Hendricks opening with him, Miller, Parnell. I feel like Quinton de Kock, he'll feel a little bit of the pressure. It will be on his shoulders slightly. Just showing the Masters coming up soon. Coverage brought to you by Titleist. That's the type of ball that my dad uses. Fun fact. Got him some for Christmas, some for his birthday, some for Father's Day. Some is just a random present randomly throughout the year. I remember I got him as well. So there's ball of choice. 221 run partnership, says Justin. Would be impressive if they were able to do so. Chase it down. I would say if they have a 221 run partnership, they probably chase this down in about 18 point something overs again. Because these two, they won't be messing around. Quinton de Kock will know that he needs to hit hard. Hendricks will know that he needs to either be the support man or go after a little bit himself as well. Showing the ANZ Premiership. I could get the boys together for a netball live stream, but I don't know how that would go. I feel like not only them, but also you guys in the chat might make it a little bit dodgy for a netball one. Just showing the Chiefs versus Blues. That is happening this weekend for Super Rugby. Also, we are covering the sevens. You might actually see my mum and dad popping on the live streams a few times over the weekend, just so that we are able to cover the both of the games at the exact same time. So that will be on Friday, Saturday, and maybe even Sunday thrown in there as well. But we're going to be busy. We're going to have previews, reviews. We want to do some on Rugby Challenge as well. We might be filming that tomorrow. I assume more than likely in the evening, just because before that I've got that job interview, and also we have got sleeping that we will have to do straight after this live stream. It's quite a shame why the Proteas don't able to replicate this hitting form in big tournament knockout matches after X losing to the Netherlands in the World Cup, says Coding. Yeah, I guess it's just all different matches, different times, isn't it? Like sometimes the ball's coming off the bat beautifully, other times it's just not the best way of describing it. I can also cover it against you if you want to do sevens. Here's Yanlu Brand. We'll see how we're going. I believe at this stage, Mum and Dad said that they were going to be able to cover some of the Super Rugby while I jump over to the sevens. But yeah, I'll work out the schedule and see what I am doing in terms of what games are going where. I know that Tim is also possibly keen to help us out for those live streams if we do need them. So we'll see how it's going. Because I assume you're covering them on your channel though, Yanlu. You won't want to give up your commentary to do it on ours. I feel like you'll still want to be able to keep those going on your channel. Right, we're looking at a sky here for South Africa versus West Indies. It's frozen at the moment, but I'm sure it will be back in a very short moment. And I don't even think it's frozen for me. I think it's still live. It's just they haven't clicked the button that says start the broadcast again. And I was like, you should live stream your interview at the bowling. I mean, they actually slightly mentioned to me about doing some sort of live stream from the bowling alley if I did have the job. Either doing a live stream of like all the alleys at once, or doing like me doing a bowling. That would be quite fun actually. Me doing a bowling live stream, how it's me trying to hit the pins. I feel like that would actually do relatively well. I feel like you guys would enjoy that. Do you guys want to see a live stream of me playing 10-pin bowling? Let me know. It'll be a bit rough at times, but see how it goes. Got the highlights of the wickets falling. Celebrations from the crowd. In fact, some of them had cannons that had confetti. Just let me know. Says Yarnley, I will do. And yes, says Rudy there. But I have to organise it beforehand in terms of like a time where you guys actually know that it's happening rather than just randomly popping it up and not giving you guys any type of preparation. Who knows? Maybe I could get George involved as well. Isaac, Daniel, maybe we could get all four of us lads down there bowling, streaming that. An idea. And depending on when it is, I guess I might even have the bowling alley all to ourselves. Right, the West Indies now making their way out onto the field. We're ready to see a run chase, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, will it be a successful or will it be a non-successful one? It would be nice if I can coverage one live stream for you. But yeah, just let me know on Discord, says Yarnley. So I assume you are doing the whole weekend though, Yarnley, on yours, theoretically, unless needed otherwise. Right, Quinton de Kock coming off a quick 100. Best is 100, and then he was dismissed. I believe he got 44 balls in for that one. It was his first and his highest score that he has ever gotten for himself in T20 internationals throughout 78 innings. And you take a rugby or cricket player and Kiwi lads, take an interview, like type inside your videos or live streams, it would be fun. I have actually reached out to, I would say, probably over 50 rugby players and cricket players. None of them reply. And the ones that do say that they can't do it. So even though like our channel has grown, they still can't come on it, or they just don't want to. Is the other thing. So it's one of those ones that, of course, one day I'd like to have a cricketer or someone on again, like we did with Maxi, the ex All Black, and we'll have to get Maxi on again soon. I think we talked about doing a special video when me and Maxi watch his first ever Crusaders game, or do his first ever All Blacks test. I feel like that would be one that we can't do on YouTube, but maybe on a different website, such as either Patreon or doing it through Discord or something like that. Here we go. Sheldon Cottrell went for 29 off his first over in the last test match, in the last T20 match, I should say. Right. On strike, Quinton de Kock, the Centurion, in the last match, a man who was able to help his side to victory. Now the umpire says play. We are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. What can Cottrell do here? He's got to get the early wicket of de Kock, though. Can he get him first ball? Get him for a royal duck. Let's see. Cottrell bowls it. Swinging. Oh, yeah. Bit of aggression there. Quinton de Kock hits it into the turf. It bounces up into Cottrell's hand, and he cocks the arm, ready to throw it. That was no pun intended either, by the way. That just happened. But much better start. Bit of swing. Went away a little bit. And de Kock, yeah, he had to get out of the way of the stumps pretty quickly there. So, yeah, just let me know. Be nice if I can do one game maybe. There's Yarnley there. And worst comes to worst, we'll see how we're going. We might be able to get you on for one that we're also doing, depending on if we have no other overlaps that I can't fill in. Just get you on for a chat like we do with Distracted Sports. And Tim and Mark, anyone who comes on. De Kock, says Nazi Williams. Yep. Yep. I actually almost made a joke earlier on, Nazi Williams, about de Kock, because I said that he almost got his head taken off. Oh, he swung at that one. Dot ball, though. 3 dot balls in a row now. Kock not happy with it. Yeah, I made the joke about him getting his head taken off, and I almost went down a track with a pun slash thingy, but I didn't. That was close to the outside edge of de Kock. This might be tricky for him here, facing this early bowling of Cottrell. Certainly swinging more than it was in the last match. And King of Puns, Hamish, and you meant that last one, says Nazi Williams. Oh, tries to swing. Another dot ball. That's 4 in a row now. King of Puns. Maybe I could become the king of pins if I did end up with that bowling job. It seems funny, though, that I don't need a CV or cover letter or anything. They were just like, come in and we'll have a chat. 'Cause you do YouTube and that's kind of cool. And who was the guy whose surname was Cocking? It was a local golfer, but it was the Sterling was actually the guy's last name. Great bowling by the Windies. Yeah, absolutely. 4 dot balls in a row here for Cottrell, getting it to swing away. Cock will be getting frustrated at the moment. So they've brought short cover up by a step or two. Getting ready to. Oh, great Yorker again from Cottrell. 5 dot balls in a row. This is upping the pressure already. We've gone from a required run rate of 11.05 to 11.5 already. Like they're saying, trying to take that momentum away from the Proteas after they were able to successfully win in that second match. South Africa has to wait for the ball to get soft before they go, says Rudy. And yeah, it is a little bit damp in the outfield. Can it be a maiden? There's a chance, but this last ball to Kock, if it's in the slot, he'll try and smack it. It's outside off stump, whipped it away. It's going to go into the deep, well fielded by the West Indies. They'll keep it to 1, and that is a fantastic over from Cottrell. Just the one off it, and nice over by Cottrell. Here's Janlu. Well, that is fantastic bowling. Right up there in the block hole for the Yorkers, and then also getting it to swing away on the offside. And that extra little bit of pressure. Here we see South African matches 80 for Quinton de Kock, 114 for David Miller. But de Kock actually has more runs than Miller, even though he's got an extra 34 matches in his favour. I like the fact that it's now 7:07 a.m. because that now means that throughout this next, I'd say 10 overs or so, I will get to see my mum walk past and get ready for work. I'll get to see my dad walk past and start getting ready for work. We might even hear one of them, have a chat with them when they come in, perhaps. Now, Roston Chase into the bowling. It's a risky choice because I feel like taking the speed off might actually make de Kock happy. But also, in a way, it could work because he'll be going after it a little bit more. It's dragged down. It's going to be a dot ball. That is 6 out of 7 balls have been dot, and balls stay stuck in the pitch. Yeah, it didn't seem to come on to the bat too well there. That 94k delivery of Roston Chase. Wonder whether or not it was a South African toss that they should have won. Or they should have said that they wanted to bat first rather than starting with the bowling. And anyone who isn't aware, South Africa, they did bowl first, 220 for 8. The West Indies got themselves. So there's some good batting from the middle and tail order. Unfortunately, the man who went from 118 in the last match got himself a golden duck in this game. I prefer chasing, says Daz. Yeah, at least with chasing, you know what you've got to get. Whereas when you're setting, it's always a little bit of a mystery. You've got to work out how good the pitch is and how many runs you need to be able to defend it. South Africa has also grass banks, similar to New Zealand. Nice place to watch cricket match. He's going, it is. And there is more people watching this T20 than there were the test matches. The test match crowd seemed a little bit light. Nicely played through the gap from Hendricks, and that will race away to the boundary. First 4 of the day for the South Africans. Austin Chase now going for 5 runs off his 3 deliveries. Crowd signalling the 4. They will need quite a few boundaries in this 221 run chase. Speaking of chase, I don't think Roston Chase is going to get a second over in the power play unless something drastic happens. They decide to change their mind. I feel like Cottrell, you've got to give him another, though. Only going for the 1 run off the first over of the innings. All right, Roston Chase making a couple field changes. Hendricks steps across, tries to absolutely spank it to the leg side, but only gets the single as it hit him in the gloves. And Chase runs across to get it. And so many perfect puns coming out de Kock, even if most are done unconsciously, says Nazi Williams. I'm hearing a lot of them when I'm saying them, but trying to keep a straight face for most of them. Yeah, there are a lot of puns that are available to go for. Now on strike. Left-hander. They have got the field set so that it's a shorter boundary on the offside. That's dragged down rubbish, but it's hit him in the knee. And that's actually a very awkward delivery. I believe that one would have gone down at about 110 for Roston Chase. And it looks like de Kock might have been hitting that side of the knee. Now, I mentioned about that earlier on, how painful that can be. No, it's hit him in the thigh pad, and it's actually hit him square on the thigh pad. So I don't know whether or not Quinton de Kock was hurt or just stunned by the fact that he got hit by the ball. That's going to be a dot ball again. Roston Chase closes it out with 6 runs off it. And now Quinton de Kock has gone from getting one of the fastest South African centuries, having 100 runs off 44 deliveries, to sitting on 2 runs off 10 balls in this match. And I was like, okay, I'll shut up now. Cricket, says Nazi Williams. De Kock frustrated. De Kock smacking straight in the hole. Genius. Yes, Nazi Williams. Super Sports Park or Super Sport Park, you always bat second, says Rudy. Although at this game, they are at Wanderers Stadium. So a different one at the moment in terms of the odds. South Africa to win is $2.85 underdogs. Cottrell will be back into the bowling attack now. Got hit straight into the side of the neck. Okay, that's it, says Nazi Williams. Hendricks sitting on 5 off 2. So I think Hendricks, so far from what we've seen, just is going to play classic cricket shots, and it will probably end up with him getting rewarded in boundaries. Whereas de Kock's having to try and force it a little bit more. Outside off stump, almost chopped on. They'll take the single. There's as many as they got on the first over of Cottrell's bowling. Now back to de Kock on strike. Just showing the first over, some beautiful swing and deliveries, everything pitched up to the point of not really being able to hoik it over the field. And also when he bowled it wide, it was swinging away, making it difficult, throwing in the occasional Yorker in there as well. It was well fielded in the deep as well for the West Indies, because it could have easily been a boundary if it was an accident. Nicely chopped away. That will be De Kock's first boundary of the day, and just glides that one. Not trying to overhit it, just watches the ball, times it nicely. That one does race to the boundary. I hope that wasn't rain that I just saw. I assume that it wasn't. I'm worried that De Kock's fumbles fielding and now bad strike rate. It's like they go out before 20. Says Daz there. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Normally, when you have a bad day in the field, sometimes that can relate to your batting, although he's trying to speed up his run rate now just a little bit more. That first boundary. It's out wide, just chops it out, nicely fielded by the West Indies. Refa knocks it away. I believe they will manage to get back for the two. No, they do just take the one instead. West Indies bowling really good at the moment, says Rudy. And they've worked out that if you pitch it up a little bit further, not only will it skid a little bit, but also creates that little bit of indecision early on. Which is what Cottrell did so well in the first over. He didn't really give him any half volleys on the stumps to be able to smash like we saw in the last match. Like, that's the thing. He's gone from going for 29 in his first over to 1. So it just shows how drastic of a change that he's made. We'll go like this. And we will go. Oh, that's close. Nope. Hasn't worked out. And we will go like that. Okay, I think the forecast mentions some spitting of rain, but only for the next 15 minutes approximately, says Eric. Okay, so hopefully it does all clear up. We are going to be good to go for the full 20. Cottrell thought it was out. It was going down leg by about a stump or two. And the cock back on strike. Pitched up again. Oh, it's a misfield from the West Indies, but there is cover back there. We'll keep it to 1. Looks like it's not very warm in Johannesburg at the moment. A lot of people with thick coats on. It's also an evening game, currently 8:15 a.m. Sorry, 8:15 p.m., I should say. Will be slippery in the outfield. We can see that with Holder. It just ended up slipping around a little bit. It's good for them in the field, not just for the bowlers. But Cottrell now to close out his over. It's a great shot from Hendricks. Hits it out through cover. That will be 4 runs to close out the over. Cottrell goes for 11. And that will now be, in fact, sorry, that one goes for 12. That'll be 19 for none. About 15 degrees at the moment. Do you use OBS Studio for recording normal videos? I do not. I use Wondershare as normally my go-to. But I have got OBS because we have used it in the past for live streams in terms of gaming ones and whatnot. It's a great drive out through cover. That is 3 overs down at the moment. 19 for none for the South Africans. Looks like there's a big party environment going on at the moment in the crowd. We'll go like this. And quickly, we will go like that as well. That's a nice shot. It's going to be another 4 runs. It's starting to speed up now big time. Oh, I just did something. Hopefully that worked. My Discord was being weird. It's going to be hit through the covers as well. Another 4 runs. Go like that. That one. Okay. We will do that later. It just said that someone had logged into my Discord account from Colorado in the USA, which I'm not in the USA. So I knew it wasn't me. That is good. Austin Chase, though. I don't know why they bowled him again. It was a risky time to put him in, definitely as a spinner. Didn't quite get that one either, Quinton de Kock. And yeah, so 15 minutes of rain will just make this ball a little bit more skiddy as well. Make it on the surface quite dewy out there at the moment because of how late it is. And that one looks like it's also going to be racing close to the boundary, all well fielded. But now he has to chase. It's going to just make it to the boundary as well. Shepherd not quite caught up with that. And please reset your Discord password before someone takes access of your account, says coding. So I'm in the process of that, but I feel like I'm trying to do two things at once. So it should be fine though. I've changed the password now. I'm just adding the two-step thingamabob so that we all good. Although there's not much on my Discord anyway. Like it's not linked to anything like my YouTube, my Twitter, well, I don't have Twitter. YouTube, my what else do I have? I don't know what else I have. Twitch. I guess it would also be connected to. Oh, outside off something. Missed that one. Chase has already gone for the 12 runs so far off the over. Right, I'm scanning a QR code quickly. That's why my phone is going up past the screen. I'll quickly put in that code. This will be the only over that we're doing things differently, ladies and gentlemen. Then we are straight back to the action. Activate. Okay. We'll go like that. Go New Zealand. 32 without loss, though, at the end of that over. I should mention. Go. What's that one? Here we go. All good. All finished. Okay, West Indies with 47 for 2 at that point. Like that. Here we go. And what was the West Indies score? They just had 47 for 2 up. Right. Zari Joseph bowls a dot ball to start us off. Right, we're good. All sorted. They are just showing the dew that is around at the moment on the ground. Bit of slipperiness makes it tricky. The Cock sitting on 21 off 20. So he has come back quite nicely after being 10 balls faced, 2 runs on the board. Zari Joseph, oh, that's a ramp shot over the top. Is there a fielder there? Yes, there is. The Cock out for 21 of 20 deliveries. And that is the big wicket. I mentioned it after that first innings. Did she just say that is so unfair? I think was the comment from her. Don't think it was unfair. It was just bad placement from Quinton de Kock. 21 off 21. See, told you, says Daz. Yeah, we mentioned during the break, I said when a player doesn't do too well in the field, normally they don't do too well in the batting department either. And de Kock, he just ended up hitting it straight to the fielder and taken nicely. Like I've said, huge wicket of Quinton de Kock. Okay, I think from what I saw there, he said to Riley Rizzo that it's just skidding on a little bit. Azari Joseph hasn't gone for a run yet, already taken a wicket. West Indies, they were 8 down at the end of their innings. South Africa, they certainly won't want to be 8 down at the end of theirs, unless, of course, some of these men at the top have done very well with the runs. That was a good take from Roston Chase, though, because he had to run around the boundary. And Johnson Charles and de Kock, century makers last match dismissed cheaply. That's cricket for you, says Coding. Exactly right. Go from hero to zero very quickly. Now another Proteas batting or another batsman will have a good opportunity to score some big runs here. Rizzo on strike to Alzari. Joseph balls the short ball. That's going to be ramped by Rizzo, but this time he finds the gap out that deep way. And that is going to be, I believe, 4 runs. Yes, just the one bounce for Riley Rizzo. So his first shot of the day is a boundary. I feel like we've got plenty more to come from Rizzo here as well. We'll go like this. We'll go like that. It's going to be 6 runs this time for Rizzo. Got a little bit more on it. And they will race away to the boundary. 42 for 1 now. South Africans find themselves sitting. So that is about where the West Indies were at this point. But Alzari Joseph, like they've said, the first option to Quinton de Kock was a good one. It got the wicket, but now he's tried it about 4 times in a row. And Riley Rizzo, every single time, is just smacking it away to the boundary. It's the short boundary, too, 59 metres. Doesn't seem correct. The bowl outside the off stump short when you've only got about 55 metres to play with. Rizzo got a strike rate of 500 as it sits. Nice straight cover drive, another 4 runs. Rizzo on fire. He's already passed Hendricks, who actually has only faced 5 balls though, so he hasn't really had a huge amount of opportunity so far. Hendricks at the non-strikers end, but Rizzo moves up to 14 off 3. 3 very good cricket shots to start him off in his innings, playing the ball well. And yeah, that one just races to the boundary also. There we go. 14 off 3. Very impressive strike rate of over 400 at the moment for Rizzo. Put on his legs, and it is the first dot ball to him. That'll be the end of the over. 14 off the Alzari Joseph over. Got the wicket, though. The big one of de Kock. Rizzo, and could be the next AB de Villiers for the Proteas. How much ability he has. He is coding. Yeah, he's a talented player, and he doesn't try and overhit the ball. He just plays cricket shots. Uses the pace of the ball a lot, and I think that's why he's been able to get himself so many runs in quick succession here. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't go after the wrong ball, get himself out playing something silly. Hendricks back on strike. See Roston Chase lurking in the background. He certainly isn't getting the next over. Last one of the power play. They might end up going with... Who is that? Are they going with another spinner? In fact, it might be. Yes, it is. But it is not Roston Chase. Instead... Oh, it is Roston Chase. Right. I said they certainly wouldn't be going with him. And I don't know why they went with him. It's going to be another 4 runs off Roston Chase. He's gone for 19 runs so far. It is very risky bowling a bowler for 3 overs in a row. Definitely all in a power play. He didn't time it at all, Hendricks, but he still gets it away to the boundary because there's no cover back there for Roston Chase. Just goes over the top of King. But this over has the potential of going for about 16 runs. If these two can find the middle of the bat. Rizzo, maybe that's why they've gone with Chase to try and get him to play at the wrong ball. Hit it straight up in the air. Use of the feet. Oh, it's the old French cut. And that will be racing to the boundary as well. Another 4 runs off the Chase over. It was a better delivery. Almost got him out. But on the scorebook, it's going to say 4-4. Just enough bat on it to chop it out. Somehow missed the stumps. He's had a little bit of luck so far, Hendricks, throughout his 18 off 7. See, Chase, he's frustrated with that one. Right, what does he do for his third ball? He's already bowled 2. Both going for 4. Third ball comes down. Another one in the block hole, so that will be a single. Now we get to see what Rizzo's going to do to Roston Chase's bowling. Chase's tactic at the moment seems to be bowl at about 95, try and get it at Yorker length. So if he messes that up for Rizzo, he'll more than likely whack and away to the boundary. At this same point, the West Indies were 60 for 2. We had seen them lose that wicket in Mayers, and we also saw them lose that wicket straight after of the man who was in very good form last match. That is Johnson Charles. They require 11.45 per over here. South Africans. It's certainly doable after chasing down 258. In the last match, Roston Chase, a little bit of a reverse sweep attempt from Rizzo. I don't understand it, seeing as they did have Alzadi Joseph there. It seems like a bit of a waste of a shot for a man who's in a very good bit of form. South Africa need a big partnership, says Rudy. Yeah, if these two can take them through to the 100 mark, and then maybe the next partnership, if they end up with it, take them through to about 160, 170, I think that they'll be in a very good place in this run chase. Big swing there from Hendricks. It goes out to the man in the deep for one. Chase so far has gone for the 11 runs off this over. Brought it back a little bit. But now Rizzo on strike. 15 off 3. I was hoping it's these two. Can't afford another wicket now, says Daz. In there as well. Last ball of the over. Does a little step to the side, gets himself planted, hits it through the gap, and it's another 4 runs for Rizzo. 15 runs off the over of Ross and Chase. I wasn't a mile off with my guess if it would go for the 16. Currently 61 for 6. Sorry, 61 for 1. South Africans after their power play. Still plenty of options here for the West Indies in the bowling department. They might give Alzadi Joseph another over a bit later on. Looking through as well. I mean, Mayers actually bowls not too badly. I don't know whether I'd go to him. Daz 100%. There's Rudy there. You've also got Jason Holder. He might get himself a chance. Don't know whether it will be the very next over, though, that they go to Holder. They've got Romario Shepherd. Sorry. Who's it going to be? Probably Holder, isn't it? Holder. Both sides actually having the exact same runs off the power play. 61. The difference was West Indies were 2 down, whereas South Africa are only the single one. In fact, they've gone with Cottrell again. Apparently, he has only gone for the 12 runs of his 2 overs. And this is probably fair enough because at the end of the day, he went for 29 off his first over in the last match and he only bowled that singular over. Whereas now they're giving him a few more cracks. That's a good delivery. Should be kept to just the one. Hendricks takes over another single. Rizzo now. 19 off 6. Still going at 1,000 miles an hour here. The swing of Cottrell seems to be working quite well early, which is also a good reason to keep on bowling him. If he's getting that little bit of swing, the chance of the batsman playing around it. Rizzo's just adjusting his thigh pad, making sure it's all in place. Because he's going to go for some sort of sweep shot if they bowl Ross and Chase again? Could be. West Indies, they have got quite a few men inside of the ring on the offside. I assume they've got their man at deep cover, though. Also, the man down the ground deep, and then a couple men on the leg side just to cover as well. It's going to be pitched up, nicely bowled by Cottrell. Oh, well defended. Well blocked by Cottrell. Manages to stop the single down the ground. At the moment, getting it very right in the bowling department. Cottrell. I don't want to jinx him, but there's a chance he could go less in these 4 overs than he went for in the 1 over last T20. Bowling again down the leg side. That will be a wide, so I might have started the jinxing. Target of 221. Every dot ball is massive. Currently, the run rate is 11.6. It hasn't jumped up too much more than it was at the start. Please jinx him. Says Daz. Yeah, at the start, they needed 11.05. It went up to 12 at one point, but now it's dropped back down a bit more. West Indies were 4 runs ahead at this point of the match. Pitched up, straight. Oh, is it out? No. The commentator said that is out, but then he realized that it was a bump ball. So it's just going to be a dot ball here. I hope you don't jinx him. I hope you didn't jinx him, says Rudy. Yeah, hits that one into the ground. Yeah. Hit it hard, Riley Rizzo. Not miss-hitting much at the moment. Everything's coming out of the middle of the bat, which is where Cottrell's swing. That's going to be down the leg side again, another wide. Just trying to get him playing off his pads here for Rousseau. Just talking about the positioning, how he plays it right under the eye line. Hits through the ball. That's something I need to work on. I always push at the ball. All good Yorker. Whip to the leg side though. Rizzo too good for that one, and he does work it down fine leg. That will be another 4 runs. Cottrell now got 2 balls left of this over. And how many extras did South Africa give West Indies, says Daz? I can get you that information. So in the innings, they gave away 11 extras, 2 no balls, 6 wides, and 3 leg byes. And already in the West Indies, we have seen extras 3, 2 wides, and 1 leg bye. I still got 8 I could give away to be even. Oh, use of the feet there. Went for the appeal, Cottrell, but it did hit the pad first. Or sorry, hit the bat first, then the pad. So it's been a little bit more expensive, but still not terrible. Sitting here with 8 runs off the over so far. If he can get out with only a single or a dot ball off this last delivery, it'll be a good over. If he ends up walking away, though, with a boundary off the last ball, it's getting up there in terms of a South Africa over instead. Oh, he's hit it hard. Out to cover. That's going to be 4 runs. Hit into the stands. Now, that'll close out the Cottrell over. He's gone for 24 runs off his 3 overs, and that is 73 for 1 for South Africa. Still keeping up with the required run rate. Current run rate is 10.4. West Indies, they did have about a 10 run rate after around 14 overs, I believe it was. Somewhere around there, they were back to 143. So South Africa, plenty of time. They keep ticking over at 10 and over, and then have a couple big overs in the middle. They should still have a chance of chasing this down. And as long as they don't lose wickets as well, that is the crucial part of it. Rizzo sitting on 24 off 10 deliveries. Jason Holder now into the bowling attack. Chase bowled 3 on the dot. It was time to take him out. Right, he's got deep cover. He's got the man at almost a bit of a wide off rather than a long off. Still got a man at extra cover though. Third man deep out mid wicket, and also a man slightly, I'd say that that's a wide on for him there. Right, that was so. He's a hard man to get out though. That is the problem. Doesn't often throw his wicket away. Jason Holder forced him to play not that wide. That is going to be the wide straight away from Holder. Makes it now 4 extras. The West Indies have given away. His career stats for Jason Holder in the T20s, it is 5 for 27. That would make it quite an interesting game if South Africa found themselves 6 down for about 150. Whether or not they would have time to be able to rebuild with the tail that they've got. It's another wide ball from Jason Holder, just not quite getting it right at the moment. You know that if that's in the hitting arc for Rizzo, he's going to swing for it. But now Holder's going to make a decision. He's trying to keep this angle going. Just needs to get it right. They're just going to show his back foot here. It looks like he's almost trying to bowl leg cutters as well, trying to get that seam to go back into Rizzo. Right, first ball of the over. For the 3rd time, Rizzo does hit that one hard. Goes out to the man in the deep. That is going to be just the single taken. So Holder, he's gone for 3 off his first ball. Due to the 2 wides. Both men actually sitting on 25 off 11. So even though it seems like Rizzo's been the more aggressive, Hendricks has actually ended up sitting on the exact same. Using the Baz bat here. Riley, sorry, in fact, that's Hendricks. Strike at the moment. Did open the batting. Both men have got more runs than Quinton de Kock. Did end up with got the man at deep point and also deep cover. So you'd assume Holder's bowling outside off stump. Anything that strays straight, he has still got cover on the leg side and down the ground. Oh, it's a short, ugly delivery. It's gone. Almost was taken, but it was just out to the right hand side of the West Indian fielder. And I would say that will frustrate Holder very much. How close was that to the chance? It was Smith, I believe, who was out there. Just ended up bouncing. Wasn't comfortable with it, Hendricks. Had to hit it in the air. He didn't quite get over the top of it. And then how close was Odie? Oh, he almost got the one hand to it. Anyone else out there, I want to say he would have had a really good crack of taking that catch. Would have been maybe a step quicker. Partnership moves up to 48 off 18 deliveries. Another short ball. West Indies asked the question, how's that? Umpire says, did he call it a wide? Because if he didn't call it a wide, then what's he saying it's hit? On the leg side. So what is it? Oh, he's saying it's straight enough because Hendricks has stepped over, but it was still drifting down leg. We play on, I guess. Another short ball. That's got to be wide, doesn't it? This time. It's called as a wide, and the crowd ironically jeer at the umpire. I keep on trying to call him a referee, getting in the rugby spirit for the weekend. Was there an edge? No, it was very close, though. I said definitely a wide, two in a row. He seems to be bowling everything as a cutter at the moment. To the leg side. They're looking for two. Holder trying to cut it off. That is very good field placement with the ball there. That brings up the 50-run partnership, 51 off 20 deliveries for these two. With the target of 221, you have to keep ahead of that current run rate. Like 11.2 is required. So they're pretty much going at the rate that they need. As long as these two stay out there for another, I mean, if they face another 20 balls, they might have another 50 runs on the board. Apparently, the partnership has had more fours. In fact, they've had the same amount of boundaries as they have had dots. That's down the leg side again. Doesn't quite catch up with it, Hendricks. He'll get just the one. Alzadi Joseph able to field it backward square leg. Rizzo's been a little bit starved of strike at this stage of the over, but that's mainly because of the wides. And then he got himself the single off the very first ball of the over. Now mean that the West Indies have to change their field quite a bit. So Mayer's dropping back at long on. Still got the man at deep mid wicket. Outside off stump, tries to hit it down the ground. It works out. We'll get the single. And that'll be the end of the over. 85 for 1. And I was like, how are you watching it? Says Cats are the best. It is on Sky Sport 3. This one, I think they have settled now as a partnership, so I guess they can accelerate, says Daz. And too many dots from South Africa. And thanks, Sense against still there as well. No worries. The required run rate 11.33. Current run rate 10.63. So I believe they're going at about that same rate that the West Indies were at this point. I'd love to see a comparison after the 10 overs. See how many they were sitting on. Here's the comparison. There you go. At the same time, West Indies were sitting on 89 for 2. And at this point, this is quite interesting. South Africa have it 14 fours, 1 6. At this same point, West Indies had it 8 sixes compared to the one that South Africa currently have. So it's not so much the, I guess, the big shots for South Africa. It's more the placement shots that have gone away to the boundary rather than going all the way for 6. Another high scoring game. G says side of canvas. Yeah, these two sides know how to do it. Those big totals on the board, run scoring wickets. Romario Shepherd is coming into the bowling attack now. Best figures 3 for 21. Let's see what he can do. Facing off against Riley Rizzo. West Indies record at DP World Wanderers. They've had 4 matches, 1 win, 3 losses. So not the best record in the world. Slower ball from Shepherd to start us off. Looks like the batsmen are going to try and run 2. That's a good call. But just 1, they weren't going to get back there, and it could have been an ugly run out, just like we saw for the West Indies in their innings. We're sitting on 32 off 15. Dropping the 2 men deep on the leg side for Hendricks, as he does like to use those wrists to flick it away. Around the corner, also the man at deep point. Quite a few of the South African players have got hoodies on. They're all rugged up warm. It's not exactly a heat wave at the moment in South Africa. I believe someone said earlier on that they're sitting about 15 degrees. That was around an hour ago, so it's probably dropped to about 13 or 12 at the moment. So they're sitting at 8:43 p.m. 6 degrees here, yeah. Not exactly nice, is it? It looks a bit nippy at the park, yeah. She's a bit chilly. Oh, slow ball, brilliantly bowled. Disguised it well, Shepherd. I'm sure that would have only been about 105 Ks. The way that he was able to disguise that one, just let it go as a leg spinner. And didn't really bounce too much either, not as much as he did expect for Hendricks. And I think that's the way to bowl to these two. Take the pace off the ball. They're going to be trying to swing hard. Definitely Riley Rizzo, because he's got that technique that if you bowl quick, he can generate the power just from the way that he plays the shot. Sometimes it's not so much about how hard you swing, it's about the accuracy of said swing. So far, 2 runs of his first 3 balls. 8.3 overs down in the South African innings. 87 for 1. Should mention it's 7:44 a.m. here in New Zealand. Nice early morning start for us today. Game starting at 5 a.m. The other games were starting at 1 a.m. You can see how moist it is just from those triangles. The boundary rope. They just pull. Use of the feet there. They'll take the single again. Reefer fields it on the circle. That's a set. West Indies have never lost a T20 series in South Africa. So if they lose this game, that is history. Again made from these two sides. It's like last match. Yeah, there we go. Head-to-head in T20, South Africa have won 11. West Indies have won 7. But somehow they've always exited a series without a loss. For the Windies, they have drawn series. That's going to be called as a wide as well from Shepherd. Hendricks still ticking over at about that 200 strike rate. Same can be said about Riley Rizzo at the non-strikers end. Moment 89 for 1 is the way it is sitting for the South Africans. Target of 221. It's going to be awkwardly glided down to the 3rd man boundary, or is it? Yep, does make its way through. They're picking out Smith beautifully. They know that he's not as quick as some of the other fielders. So they've just managed to perfectly decide that's who we're going to hit to every chance that we get, whether it is in the air or whether it is along the ground as well. Just missing it out. Smith, he actually got to it. That's right, Indian batsman, a prime example. They got power. That rolling of the wrist technique, good timing, not always timing. Yes, or technique, good timing, not always timing. There's Nazzy Williams there. Shepherd's under pressure here. He's gone for 8 runs. It's his first boundary off him, though. Also, not always power, sorry, says Nazzy Williams. And that's the thing. The bats these days are big enough and heavy enough and built well enough that it will do most of the work. All you need to do is make sure that your technique's good, that you're hitting it either along the ground or hitting it in the air if you're trying to go over the top. All you need to do is just get that bat close to the middle, and then boom, ball races away to the boundary. The boundaries just aren't quite long enough for some of these bets. 9 overs down, 94 for one. Shepherd finishes with the 9. They're interviewing the GM of South African KFC. Pretty impressive. Be a fun job. Her name is something. That's a tricky one. Akona Ringi? Ringi? Maybe? Ringi? Their last name? She likes KFC. Oh, they're giving away Ollie for free KFC. I'll have to let George know about that one. 38 off 19. Currently for Hendricks, Rizzo sitting on 28 off 14. So theoretically, if they continue at this rate, going at 200 strike rate, give us a free wicket wings owl, says Nazir Williams. Wicket wings are all right. I haven't had a wicket wing in a long time, though. George loves his chicken thighs, as you guys know. They're his favourite piece of chicken. If they don't give him the chicken thighs when he specifically asks for the chicken thighs, he gets quite upset. I quite enjoy a drumstick, though, if I had to pick. Like, I'd probably go drumstick, then thigh, then maybe you go with maybe like the breast, I guess, if it's decent. What other bits of the chicken are there? There's a wing that's kind of connected to another bit of chicken. There's a little tiny reject piece. Is that the wing? Might not be. There's a riblet bit. Drumsticks for the win, says Daz. Drumsticks are good, though, although you don't get as much chicken. And also saying those ribs no good. Nazi. I feel like I'm going to buy a bucket of chicken just to see all the different parts of chicken. Yeah. Thigh, drum. You get about 6 or 8 pieces, or 6 or so pieces of a chicken, don't you? You get the drum, you get the wing, you get the shot from Riley Rizzo. That's 6 runs. And he's aiming at the KFC bucket. He's trying to get himself some free wicket wings by taking out the GM. Crowd loving that one. Yeah, there's only a few bits of a chicken that you can use. You can't really use like the feet or the beak. Well, you can in other things, but not in chickening in terms of KFC. You wouldn't see a coated chicken foot in the KFC menu that I know of. Not here anyway. Maybe somewhere else. 103 meters. Oh, he almost. Tell you what, it's lucky that hit that post, or else he was breaking someone's window. And that's not what you want at night time, is it? It's 8:50 at night. Who's going to repair a window at 8:50 at night? You're just going to have to get some tape. Yeah, he just hit above it. Why would you want to live there? You get pelted by balls. To be fair, that other ball's still on the roof from earlier on. South Africa, the beaks and wings are eaten. And those walkie-talkies. Huh. That's quite a smart name, isn't it? Well, hello there, Kiwi lads. Just got home, worked long hours, a bit of cricket. Now I missed you all. Says Roof. And I meant beaks and feet. Says Des. And also they use everything, says Nazir Williams, for the Chinese cuisine. They're able to feed 150,000 children per day at KFC, they've just said. By the sounds of it. Are just showing the ones who are wearing the baseball helmets who are scattered around the ground. They are the ones who are picking up the ball when it becomes available. That's going to be shot down the ground from Riley Rizzo straight to the fielder, Shepherd. Get to 1. Think you're a roof behaving yourself? Says Nazi. Okay. She's just said that KFC is all about sharing and all about creating beautiful moments. Inspirational. Although creating magical moments, normally you don't want to touch a steering wheel after having KFC unless you've washed your hands, because else then you just get the grease everywhere, don't you? Unfortunately. Like, I feel like we haven't found a KFC near us that doesn't have very greasy stuff. But I'm excited for the day when we do. Oh, that's a rough throw, almost an overthrow. Luckily, Cottrell was waiting for it. And they had a fantastic biltong, blue cheese, and fig quiche from New Delhi called Honey Bun Hamish. Says Roof. I had honey baked ham today. It's not quite the same, is it? Haven't had any cheese. Not yet. See how we're going later on. 103 for one. South Africa recently bringing up that 100 with the big six from Rizzo. They're saying it's a chilly night in Johannesburg, being about 13 degrees. Azari Joseph now the slower delivery. They don't take the run, and that will end the 10th over now. So they are currently just a little bit behind the target, but they're still not doing too badly in terms of that run rate. How they are progressing. 118 runs needed off 60 balls to be able to win this one. 11.8 required runs per over for them to be able to chase it down. Hendricks still sitting with that more than 200 strike rate, which is very impressive at this stage. South Africa need 118 more runs to win. They've still got nine wickets remaining. And the night sky is certainly black. At the moment, it's very dark. They decided to play this game quite late. It's raining here tonight. The Windies bowler's doing at the moment. Quinton de Kock looks like a Mexican with that mustache. There's Ruth. Although he didn't score too many runs today. Could have gone with some puns there and whatnot, but I decided against it. Holder now back into the bowling attack. But yeah, the bowling at the moment isn't too bad. Oh, it's off the edge, but it doesn't quite carry. Was he walking in? It's very slippery out there at the moment, though, so it's pretty hard to get a catch on the ball. That was Shepherd again. It was the slower delivery from Jason Holder, just rolled it through his fingers. I Nuzzy, I'm too whacker tired now to do anything naughty, says Ruth. And what was West Indies' score after 10 overs? You're asking the good questions, Rudy. They had it, or they haven't actually had it come up before. But I'm sure they will have it up relatively soon. Can't watch, but good listening from Zurich. Thanks for sharing this, says Enzel. No worries at all. Hopefully, I have pronounced Zurich correctly. Maybe not, though. So I do apologize. Oh, full toss, Rizzo. That is the best shot I think we've seen of the day. Close to it anyway. But then saying that it was off a full toss, so is it as impressive if it's a big, juicy pie that you're going to take and hit about 90 plus meters down the ground? Yes, says Ansel. Great work from Rizzo. That does kind of cut down on that run rate again. Watch it go from 11.9 down to about 11.7 just with that class shot, 11.5, even more. 91 meters down the ground from Riley Rizzo. Didn't try and overhit it, but it is what you call a pie. And it is what you don't want to be bowling. To a man who's currently hitting the ball well. These two are racing to the 50. Rizzo sitting on 19 balls face, 22 face for Hendricks. Both 9 away from their half century. Oh, Rizzo, he's given him another full toss. Got to get the ball to bounce. It's going to be just the single, though. He's saying it was too high up to be able to hit that one down the ground. To Jason Holder, who is smiling about it, going, yep, it's a good ball. That's a great shot. Just holds the pose. Boom. Oh, this series has been a perfect example of why crowds have to really keep their eye on the ball. Because throughout these 3 matches, we have probably had about 76s. Whip to the leg side again. Just the one taken. Roston Chase. Fields it in the deep. 42 now for both of these men. 112 for one. At the moment. Needing another 110 runs. No, 109 runs, sorry. To be able to go on and get themselves this victory. Looks like they've had a bit of a field change. They're going to have a point put in. Got the man at kind of like a forward third man. They also do have a third man. Oh, was that an edge? Was that an edge? That's hit something. Surely Holder's celebrating. And that's going to be the wicket of Riley Rizzo. Just kept on screaming, Holder. I think he knew it was out. He just kept on screaming for the sake of it. They look very happy about it. Those kids not happy at all that Riley Rizzo has been dismissed. Now South Africa 112 for 2. He danced down the wicket and then ended up just gloving it. Oh, or did he? Was that glove or was that arm? Surely it was glove if he didn't. He walked, so surely that's hit the glove of Riley Rizzo. But either way, he's going to be out. I was at the first game when a woman not paying attention was hit in the face slash hit by a six. Yeah, you got to be careful. Like at the end of the day, even when you're watching, it's still dangerous enough. Like that ball is not soft. As much as like people want to go, oh no, it'll be all right, I'll catch it. But like if you don't have coordination, it looks like it hit that arm. But I guess we'll see the replay from the side on, and we'll get to see the fact that it did hit his gloves rather than not. Yep, that did end up hitting the gloves first of all, and then I think it hit the back arm, and then Jason Holder just yelling, celebrating big time. Never looked at the umpire to appeal. Now, David Miller actually come into the crease. So I believe he's been promoted up the order just a little bit for the South Africans. I think he's going to be a very good option to try and steady our Windies. Could keep Proteas batsmen pinned down, wet and slippery balls out there. Any boundaries? Bye-bye out. See his roof. If you want to know how hard a cricket ball is, take a look at the professional cricket players' fingers. Exactly right. Like the amount of them who have like tape on every single finger. Like, I mean, I saw that actually when we played T20 a couple weeks ago. One of the players in the other team had tape on every finger. And I don't think it's because he's injured his fingers. It's just because he knows that that would be a good way of doing it to not injure the fingers as much. Probably not a bad idea, to be fair. You get a little bit more grip as well if it's not too slippery. Strategic. It's like wearing a glove. The end of the 11th over now. So a little bit unlucky, they've said. But 113 for 2 now after the 11. Currently 8 a.m. here in New Zealand. I'm getting close to bedtime, which is the normal sentence that I have used on these live streams often, that I am up at a random hour of the night. Markram, Klaasen, Parnell, the next three batsmen for the Proteas. Now, Roston Chase back into the attack. He's currently gone for 34 runs. This will be a tester to see if Hendricks wants to smack him round a bit. First, he will be bowling to Miller. The man who has only faced one delivery. He's got himself 1 run in the process. Proteas still don't really need to rush this. The required run rate's gone up to 12. Run rate of 10.3, so it's getting closer, but a boundary and over at the moment is about all that they need to try and do. It's going to be hit down the ground for 1. David Miller gets himself another single. And also, we have got their last gender woman in New Zealand. That's sad, says Roloff. Right, I feel like you're not talking cricket, are you, Roloff? Just the noise of the ball cracks into the body. It's lethal, nasty. Get on the hands. Yeah, not so nice on the inside of the kneecap either. I learned that the hard way. 107 needed off 53. Going into the deep. Mayers fields it at deep cover. Currently 12.2. Every time that we do see a dot ball or a single, and even to a certain extent a 2 now, that run rate will slightly increase. Boundaries, definitely going to be the difference between a win and a loss here for the Proteas. They need to keep those runs ticking over. Full toss. It's going to be 6 runs, I believe. I think it did make it all the way on the full. They might just check this one. Crowd is celebrating either way, whether it's a 4 or a 6, they're happy enough. Millie didn't quite strike that one cleanly, but it's another big full toss from the West Indies. So you wonder whether or not they're missing their line or their length a little bit, due to the slipperiness of the ball. Does it hit it on the full? Or I think it bounces into it. So I think it's going to be a 4 here for Miller. Yep, bounces into it. Yep, bounces into it. Yep, bounces into the rope. They've shown it 4 times. Probably depends who's on the TMO. Will depend on whether this is a 6 or a 4. Okay, looks like they are going with the 4. Miller will like to find the middle of the bat for his next shot, I would think. Definitely if he does go after Roston Chase. Waits for that one nicely. And that was a slower delivery from Chase. Mixing it up well. Hendricks at the moment, the leading run scorer for the South Africans in this match. Miller, though, if he speeds up, might be able to overtake him. Although Hendricks at the moment sitting 43 for 24, 43 off 24. Very impressive. West Indies at this point were 123 for 5. It lost a few more wickets in the process up to this point. Good morning, Amish. Cold down there today, says John. It is. It's 5 degrees according to my computer. Oh, Hendricks. It's that one down the ground on the bounce to the fielder. Yeah, it's a bit chilly, but I've got the classic Kiwi kit on, which is a hoodie, and then I've got short rugby shorts on. So all the heat that I'm creating up here is probably just going straight out through my legs. 100 runs now required. Certainly doable. It's out wide. He chases it as well there, Miller, because he gets stepped across and whatever the men do. Can do. The women can match them. Terrific athletes. I have great respect for the women in sports. Says Ruth there. And I think South Africa's women's side did above and beyond what a lot of people expected in their T20 World Cup as well, which is why the nation really rallied behind them, which is pretty awesome. They are just showing the fourth level of flats was actually where Riley Rizzo hit that ball to, which went about 100 meters. And also they showed the pan of the ball being stuck on the roof around the other side. Shepherd, top run scorer for the West Indies, 44 off 22. Hendricks, top run scorer for the South Africans, 44 off 25. Here we go. Both men as the highest. Miller sitting on 8 off 5. Who is going to be the next bowler, I believe? With Chase bowling out from that end, they might go back to Joseph, I think. Looks like from this end it will be Shepherd just using the wrist, flicking it around. All well done. In the deep, Smith, sorry, could have easily ended up messing up that one, but he's managed to get his hands to it. Really drifting across for Shepherd with the slingy action, as they've called it. Ooh, just managed to reach out. And that's the thing. The West Indies fielding now is going to become crucial. Every extra run that they leak, the commentators, they called one of the flats out. And one of the men in one of the other flats has actually come out to say hello. Shot. That's flat. That's hard. That is 6. Trying to break windows at this ground by the looks of it, but that will help out. And Hendricks now getting himself the 50, doing very well. 50 off 26. Hamish, you need some thermal leggings and hot chocolate to get the blood pumping. Keep warm. Says the roof. Although my bed will be very warm once I do go to it after this match is finished, which is in 46 balls time. Could go down to the wire. Although the way that the Proteas were able to finish that last match up against the West Indies, it makes me wonder whether or not they will just go bang, bang, bang near the final moments and manage to chase it down with an over spear. And that would be the first series that the West Indies have lost in South Africa. And imagine saying, oh, that's big. Has he got enough of it? Oh, it's dropped. It's dropped in the deep. That would have been Hendricks gone. And that is a massive, massive mistake there from Brandon King. Like I've said, that was important. That would have been the catch that could have changed the momentum and could have changed the game for the Windies. That building is across the road. So it was a big hit, says Rudy. What happens? Yeah, it went straight through his hands, hit his thumb, and then went through. He managed to save it from going to the boundary for 4. If there are any positives to be taken out of that situation. But straight through. And that was funny. Says Nuzzy Williams. Should have been gone. Shepherd was sad. I can't even remember what I was saying about Hendricks before that big shot came in. Was I talking about my bed? No, I was talking about that South Africa might try. Oh, no, I found it. It was in the back of my head. I was going to say for the West Indies, they won the first match, but imagine saying for the first time you've lost a series, even though you scored 258 runs in one of the matches and somehow lost. Like, that is something you don't say every day. Bucket that up, says Nazi Williams. He did. That's why I don't like fielding in the deep. Well, in fact, that's why I don't like fielding anywhere. I feel like I need some more catching practice. Have to get my dad out there hitting balls up in the air for me to be able to take. And true, don't want to be a Mark War. At least he saved the four. Says Nazi Williams there. I just showing 50 replays of this. I assume that is to check whether or not it was the boundary, but now back into the action. Oh, wide. That's frustration from the bowler. Looping down the leg side. Great fielding from Cottrell. Gets it to just the one, but that will be an extra 2 runs now. And not great fielding. Although it is tough, the ball's very slippery out there. Whether or not that will stop Hendricks from going for so many risky shots, probably not. But he was going for the longer boundary as well, which is why there was a chance for King because he did try and hit out there a bit further. He's still out there on the boundary, probably not feeling that great, Brandon King. An extras count now, please, says Daz. At the moment, the extras count is 9. 8 wides, 1 leg by. So they have already bowled more wides by 2 than the South Africans did. And forgot it is slippery, says Yarnley. Although, of course, professional cricketers still would have liked to be able to take that catch. Now 2 balls remaining of the over. One of the men running drinks for the West Indies. The only part of chicken I like is the breast and wing. Dropped. Shame the poor fielder. It sucks. Yeah, it never feels good dropping a catch. And the thing is, you never drop a catch on purpose, which is something that some people don't really understand. They go, oh, you should have been able to catch it. And it's like, yep, that's all well and good, but it's still a drop catch. Still went through. You think I should have been able to catch it? You go to practice and you hit me 50 catches in the air. They aren't willing to do that. That's really dewy up there. That's like enough dew that's actually forced the Toblerones around the boundary to have running water going down them. Tried to bowl him round his legs. Great shot. Hendricks, oh, that's an ugly one. That one's flown up into the stands almost with the speed of that. This is a huge over so far, but once again, it should have been a wicket. This is actually similar to the Rabada over that we saw at the end of the West Indies innings. He should have got a wicket first ball. Then he got hit for about 26. This is that same scenario of he had that wicket in his hands. Fielder didn't, but he did. And then now it looks like it's going to be very costly. And wet ball, high ball, not easy. Says Roof. And we count. Says Roloff. 82 now needed. Off 43. This over's been massive for their confidence. Slower ball. Goes straight to the fielder on the ring, Jason Holden, and that will be the end of the over. 17 runs off it. It'll be 139 for 2. And 82 off 53. 43 in there. But yeah, still doable, isn't it? For the South Africans with the way that they are going. Hendricks hitting 1-6-8-4s, which is the difference. A lot of the West Indian players were hitting those big sixes, whereas Hendricks is just placing it. Trying to make sure that he does every run possible. And that one was probably my favourite shot of his, the one where he just cracked it across to the leg side. 56 off 29 balls, strike rate of 193. So if he continues at that rate, it would be very close, but they would still just get over the line. And his wagon wheel's pretty impressive. It's gone almost all around the ground, except he hasn't had many shots straight. 43 low. There's Nazi Williams. In fact, he hasn't actually hit anything on the mid-wicket to straight on area. 11% though hit down the ground on the deep cover straight on. That person has wrote KFC on their phone, put it up on the screen, hoping to get maybe some free KFC. The ball is like a bar of soap at this time. Yeah, it's very hard, which is why maybe we've seen so many full tosses from the West Indian bowlers as well. It's because they haven't quite been able to keep it in the grip of the hands. You can see Holder there in between trying to rub it to try and dry it off a little bit. Mark Waugh was superb as the batsman. Fielding has made the best players look sloppy. Says Roof, including myself. I drop catches for fun, unfortunately. But I took a couple in the last game that we played. There was no camera though. So you guys have to take my word for it. But then I just told you I drop a lot of catches, so I don't know if you trust me. I want to lose my voice later in today. Definitely not for the weekend coming up as well. The weekend is going to be a busy, busy time for myself. Now, 81 needed off 40 balls. This has been a little bit of a slower T20 than normal. I think it's going to run slightly longer than it should. Not only that the pressure of the big crowd and camera audience, different buzz, I assume. Yeah, pressure. Oh, that could be out. Hendricks has chipped that one. Is it going to be? No, it falls safe. Somehow finds the gap. Holder's frustrated there. Hendricks, the way that he hit that shot, he kind of looked like straight away he dropped his head and said, ugh, it's gone out. But they weren't able to get to it. It was actually going in the direction of Brandon King again, the man who dropped the last catch. I mean, redemption. Once again, pace off delivery from Holder. Seems to be bowling the cutters quite a bit today. Cricket is so bizarre and unpredictable. Next ball could be six or bowled, says Roof there. Yep. No one quite able to get to that ball. Holder again. Slower delivery. Nice straight drive. Is it straight enough? Yes, it is. And it's going to be 4 runs. I mentioned that Hendricks hadn't utilized that area of the ground, and he's just played a beautiful shot on that side. That'll be the 4 runs. 75 now needed off 38. Still the required run rate of 11.8. So it is going to slowly keep ticking up or ticking down depending on what each ball does. And that's the thing. When we get to the last 5 overs or so, every dot ball will add probably about 0.5 needed per run. Sorry, per ball. Mark Waugh was a good player, but he's glass half empty on empty with the commentary. Says Nuzzy Williams. That will be a one taken. Hendricks moves up to 63. One ball remaining now. David Miller sitting on 11 off 9. So he hasn't really had a huge amount of strike. To get that 4 a bit earlier on. Hendricks blinking profusely, which I would say is due to just getting adjusted to that light and also maybe just for fun. Miller, 11 off 9 on strike again for one final ball of the Jason Holder over, who still has one more up his sleeve. That will be wide. Average is still great. Lucky Hendricks living dangerously, says Roof there. I don't think I've ever seen Holder bowl so many wides. I think this is about his sixth. One more ball. Run rate, exactly 12. Just moved to 11.8. It was 12 for a bit. If this is a dot ball, I guess it would almost be 12 again. That's a better ball. Yep, got that one right. And that'll be the end of the over. South Africa requiring 73 off 36. Okay, so it will be a little bit more than 12. 148 on the board. After 14 overs, normally that would be handy. And that would be very decent. But in this case, with so many runs being scored, like it's very tricky. Reezy Hendricks, this is close to his highest score. He does manage to get up to 75, so he needs another 12 runs. We've got Daniel in the chat. Morning, Amish. Welcome in, mate. We are doing very well. Now, we're a Monday morning. And are we currently in school holidays or is it school? You got school today, Daniel? His best score was actually up against Ireland. And then his second best was actually up against the West Indies for Reza Hendricks. And 6 times 6 might help, certainly would. He's hit that one along the ground, though. I thought for a second he was going to smack a big one straight away. We have the wickets. I think they can take the chance. We're running out of balls, says Daz. And yeah, taking singles actually does increase that run rate. As you'll see here, sitting on 12.2 at the moment. As soon as that goes down to 35 balls, run rate will increase to about 12.3. I was going to say 12.3, 12.4, but I believe next time it will move up to 12.5. Wednesday, ain't it? It's not a Monday, is it? It's Wednesday. Sorry, I'm used to doing live streams when it's like Monday. Just shows how far behind I am. That means I've lost like 2 days this week. I can't believe it's already Wednesday though. And I'm one over. Says Nazi Williams. Yeah, six sixes and an over would certainly do it. Here comes Miller again. 11 off 10 on strike now. Does a little foot shuffle, hits it down the ground. Did he get it? Oh, it's taken by Cottrell. It was right in the fingertips. And Miller's gone. Big wicket to get, and it's going to be Alzari Joseph who does manage to get a great catch, Cottrell. Yeah, that was not easy. And the fact that it stuck just in a couple fingers, that's even more impressive. And I don't remember Mark Waugh being very expressive. Didn't show much emotion. How's this run rate? Is it enough? This is going to increase it quite a bit. Yeah, just in the fingertips. And in fact, it was the front hand that he managed to keep it in, which is even harder to do. Go. Yep. Just enough. Yeah, he's squeezing it in between the pinkies and the hand. Miller will be gone 11 off 11. And I'll make it 149 for 3 now for the South Africans. And must bat at 12.5 and over. Yeah, moving up to 12.7 now. Another wicket or another couple dot balls. It looks like Cottrell will get some attention for that hand that he took the catch with. A mark from Skipper. Now makes his way to the middle. It's going to be a tricky one for the South Africans. The pressure is starting to build just a little bit more. Miller out, says Sighted. Yeah, he'll be disappointed with only getting the 11 runs off the 11 balls, because then that kind of, yes, it helps rotate the strike, but it doesn't really progress you that much. You never know, twists and turns in this match like that. Out by Miller. Says Roof, right. Markram on strike to Alzadi Joseph. I think he'll bowl him a short ball. It wasn't too short, but it was work down the ground from Markram. He does get the single. An even single, as you see. Run rate almost increasing to 13 now needed per over. See that bat just rotate in the hands of Miller. Didn't get enough of it, but he also, earlier on, he didn't really middle one that he hit for 4 either, so you can understand why that one didn't quite go as far as he would have liked. Out wide, it's going to be chipped by Hendricks. Found the gap beautifully. That will be another 4 runs. That man is in some great form and good fielding compared to dropped just a while ago. I see you can never tell, says Roof there. And looks like it's not so easy to get those boundaries on this pitch, says Sighted. Yeah, it seems like as it's gotten later in the day, it's actually probably ended up a little bit more challenging. That is just due to that, also the skid that it does create, keeps it nice and low. Anyways, we've still got time. We could go to the super over for this matchup. Wouldn't that be a treat? Now Joseph pitches that one up. Head out through a gap, and they do get themselves another single going to go to the end. There's Yanu. It should be a nice close one, because even with that single taken after the boundary, it still keeps it up at about 12.8. 221. We've seen South Africa chase down big totals before. You just got to look at that second T20 between the two sides, chasing down 259 runs to win it. And they had 7 balls remaining to be able to do so. South Africa need a Lance Klusner, the slogger and smasher. There's Roof. They sneak the single again. It'll be the end of the over. 65 needed off 30 balls now. At the end of the over. Can the Proteas do the business again after the big run chase a few days ago, says Sighted? It's a great question. They still have men in the shed, though. And that's kind of the main thing to look at. You've got 7 batsmen, but are they all batsmen? Klaasen can bat. Barnell hasn't really had too many opportunities. And Fortuyn, see, that's the thing. After Klaasen, you're getting into the tail a little bit. So you probably do need it to be done by Hendricks, Markram, and Klaasen. So you can't really afford two quick wickets, which is what the West Indies will be after, because if they can create quick wickets just like South Africa did, that will slow down that run rate. And now you're talking roof. There's Des in there as well. 3 wickets, 2 taken by Joseph, 1 taken by Jason Holder, and it sounds like Shepherd now coming back into the bowling attack. Les Glistener was one of a kind. Fabulous player, slower ball there. They look like they're going to push for 2. They should get there as well. Nice running between the wickets. And South Africa needed an over with 20 runs or more, says Rudy. It would certainly help them progress. Parnell is not a reliable batter. When he comes in, batting quality collapses. Although they have still got Rabada as well, we should mention, a bit further down the line. Nokia can actually hit a long ball. We've seen that from the test matches. So who knows? Maybe there's still a little bit of depth left in that South African lineup. It will just be tested if they do get a chance out at the middle. Nice slow ball again, taking all the speed off it. Still got a few batsmen left. They will take the 2 again. This is good work. Run rate will still increase a little bit, but still 2 runs definitely better than 1 and a whole lot better than a dot ball. That man has decided he wants to show his nipple to the camera. And now we've got a weird zoom in of Shepherd's crotch. What's going on? What's happened to the camera operators? They're still zooming in on his crotch. Oh, okay. It's because he's got a sore quad. It just seemed like he was kind of like, now we're just seeing him kind of grabbing at it. So maybe it's not feeling 100%. West Indies want this match more than South Africa at the moment. I'm waiting for the next container. Oh, that's nice. It is nice. I'm slack right now, says Nate. It is work. Another single taken. Markram sitting on 69. Oh, sorry, Hendricks sitting on 69 off 35. Markram on 7 off 5. 60 runs needed off 27 balls. And Parnell is the bowler. Doesn't have consistent batting record like Elgar. I want to put 10 rand on him to get 30 at the moment. There's the roof. Oh, well pitched up. Slow ball again. They'll be looking for 2, although it has gone straight to the fielder, so they won't get it with that one. 2 balls remaining of this over. So far, it's been a relatively good one, only going for the 6 runs of 4, which is great because the run rate for the West Indies just able to keep on pushing it up a little bit more. Shepherd looks like he's struggling, though, so luckily he's only got 1 more over after this if they decide to use it. Well, that's South Africa chick. And the crowd was nice, says Nazi. Which one are we talking, Nazi? I wasn't paying much attention. Oh, it's gone straight to the field and no run taken. Powell hurt his finger in the process, but he's cut it off beautifully. I from sunny Columbia, relax, folks. Hendricks and Markram are going to let fly soon, says Neil. Welcome in, Neil. Doing very well, mate. And yeah, that's the thing. With Hendricks still being at the middle, they've still got a full-on chance of winning this one. Markram, he's got some big shots up his sleeve when he decides to use them. Hasn't used them just yet, but maybe that is because of the Shepherd slower bowling. And I had hoped Parnell. Oh, big swing there from Markram. No run taken. Great over. Very good over from Shepherd. And the thing is, his leg hurts, but I think he's got to bowl another with the way he was able to bowl there. Current run rate, 10.2 required, now going up to 14.2. Unfortunately, he's not of that mould. Excited for being like Polly with the all-round ability. And wow, men's boobs in TV. I'm shaking. Hello, the cool dude. Go well, not happening. Struggle to get the ball away. Says Ethan. Although at the same point, West Indies were 163 for 8. So, South Africa have got the advantage of having wickets up their sleeve, whereas the West Indies did not. They had 2 remaining and they had a massive last over with Kagiso Rabada getting smacked all around the park. And morning, says Daniel with the Kieran, the George, and the Hamish. Hope you are doing well, mate. Yeah, at this stage, I talked to my uncle about the test match. I think more than likely it might end up being a start of next season type venture. Or because during the school holidays and the Christmas break, he actually wants to get a T20 competition running again. So perhaps we'll have that rather than the test match. But yeah, sounds like it might be a start of the next season or the end of next season is when that test match can take place, which is a shame a little bit because it is so far away, but might be the best way of doing it. And also Nazi looking at the South Africa ladies. Luckily, she didn't take her shirt off. There's his roof there. And I didn't see Quinton bat. Out he go. Another 100 runs. No, he only got 21 off 21. He was struggling quite a bit. Find the middle of the bat, unfortunately. He set on 2 runs off 10 balls to start his innings off. And yes, says Daniel, that's going to be a catch in chant. No, it falls short. Another single taken. And unluckily, says Ethan. And I say, yeah, because says the Blues Nate. Jason Holder. Another big full toss. Current run rate sitting at 10.2, still somewhere around there. Required run rate 14.7. It's almost up to 15 and over here for the South Africans, but they have the power to be able to do it. Out wide, plays at it, reaches for it. It's a nice shot. Do they want the 2? They do take it. It was a little bit casual from Smith out on the boundary. And they get back for 2. Quinton is my hero. 1 match and 0 next. Shame he's been a good player for years. The Proteas. Also, forgive me for my sins. Will fail short of the glory. God says nothing. Good morning, says Novmum. Welcome in. It was an ugly bounce off there. Yeah, 8:30 for us here in New Zealand. Is it as cold up there, Novmum, as it is down here? We're currently sitting 6 degrees. The sun's come out as well, which is nice, but it's still 6 degrees. And it's got the George and the Hamish emojis in there as well. Well and truly making the most of them. You've been up the whole time, says Daniel. Oh, did Markram throw away his wicket? Holder's going upstairs straight away. He's not even the captain, and he's done it. He's going upstairs to check it to see if there was a ramp shot that may have led to an edge. But yeah, I've been up. What happened was I went to sleep at 3:50 for 40 minutes, then woke up and we're doing this live stream. Then I'm going to be going to sleep after it, waking up at about 3 p.m. and then going on Maru for an interview thingy mabob. Yeah, it is cold. Says, no, Mum, right, we're going to get to see this one. He switched the bat round, went for the ramp. Okay, he hit it into the ground. That's going to be not out. So he did get the bat, then the bump ball. It almost went on to hit the back foot. Yep, it's confirmed that it's come off the bat. Then it hits the ground, so it is going to be not out. They still have a review up their sleeve, though. And it's a cricket bounce. There's a roll off. Yep, then it bounces, so it's going to be not out. Jason Holder close, though. He did find the edge, just not quite how he wanted it, unfortunately. And also, it's up to Young Brand Channel. Lad, all right there, boss. Live commentary. It just needs some amazing bowling. With some good in swingers for Jason Holder. As well, one moment. We'll go like this and like this. There we go. There's the problem with the cold weather. Your nose wants to run. That's going to be well fielded in the deep by King. Andre Chase. They will get back for 3 runs. And okay, Lowell not out. There's Nazzy Williams. Right, so that is added up to now 9 runs off the Holder over. Required run rate up to 15.6. Only 3 more to go after this. Now, Holder, this is his last. Shepherd, they'll want to get 1 more out of him. Definitely with the way that he was bowling afterwards. He was definitely doing nicely with those slower deliveries. And some brave fielding on the boundary. Exactly right. And that's what you got to do at this stage of the match. Not just about the catches, taking them. It's also about making sure that you do. Oh, big swing there as well from Hendricks. It's also about making sure you don't have any misfields. He slips, says Daniel. Oh, thanks, says Yalu. There as well. Right, end of the over, 173 for 3. So do you have school today, Daniel, or is it still school holidays? When were school holidays? I guess you're over the East. You're on Easter holidays at the moment, are you? Maybe in New Zealand. They are going to require exactly nice, easy number here to remember. They're going to need exactly 16 per over. Moon is half out. South Africa at the moment. It seems like 200 is a normal T20 score these days. Depends on the pitch, but yeah, in South Africa it certainly is. Like the fact that they were only at 11 overs for their first match and they had 130 on the board each. That would have been another one that had 200 scored. West Indies at this point were 168 for 8. Whereas South Africa, they are sitting 173 for 3. And teacher strike. Ah, I see. Get the day off. Face off delivery from Shepherd. And like I mentioned, he had to bowl this week and then next in the holidays. And we're letting the required run rate get away, says Dazzy. It's going up to 16.9. They've still got Chase and they've still got Joseph remaining. Oh, slow ball hit him in the box. Very well bowled. And it's Easter, says Roloff. Watch those late nights, Amish, says Ruth. Yeah, that is true. I'll have to make sure that I sleep after this and I sleep well. I'll probably fall asleep almost instantly. That's the thing. Probably end up lying in bed and going out like a light. Anyone here in Paris? It's like it's on fire. Says Sighted. I am not, no. Markram now on strike, sitting on 12 off 10. Slower ball, still tries to connect with it, not able to do so. They'll get it out to the man of the deep. King, another single taken by South Africa. Almost requiring 3 runs a ball now. In fact, they require more than 3 runs a ball. The last over for the West Indies is going to cost South Africa, says Rudy. And also this over, it seems like it's going very well. I saw the cock after that, says Nazi. Yeah, he won't be happy with this total. Of course, that's what you were referring to, wasn't it? Nazi and nothing else. Oh, that's gone up. Hendricks has not got. Oh, it misses the fielder though. It's going to go for the. Oh, it's 6. I thought it was 1 bounce 4. And also we have there's a South African. I just want to say thank you for your fantastic commentary and awesome, fantastic channel. Awesome commentary. Thank you very much, Steve. Hugely appreciated. And we have got plenty more cricket, rugby, sport in general coming in the near future. So anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It's been a very exciting T20 series. We saw South Africa chase down 259, which is an unheard of chase. In fact, it was the highest that we've ever seen. This one, they're going to try and chase down 220, and with a 6 there, that certainly helps them. Hit down the ground hard, kept to just the 1. 39 from 13. There's Daniel there. And any guesses how many runs for that last over? Says Cited, as in the final over of the match. How many you think they'll need? To be honest, I think they'll be looking for somewhere around that 20 mark. 33 from 12. I think you're a little bit ahead, Daniel. And myself, still haven't seen that shot yet. Markram sitting on 13 off 11. Had to try and start firing soon. And yeah, he did just wait for it. Did it go all the way? Yes, it did. Just because of Mayers making the little mistake on the boundary, it means that it's going to be the 6 runs. It's extremely slippery around there. I'm guessing about 15 off the last over. Said Cited. Said that it might be a 4. What happens here for Mayers? He was right there, ready for it. Hits him on the arm. Oh, I think it bounces. Did it bounce onto the boundary rope all the way, though? Yeah, he's dropped that one. It's a shame. And it might be even more of a shame if this one's gone and hit the boundary rope on the full. No, it is a bounce into it, so it's just going to be 4. And I thought it went straight up. Yeah, it did look like it was relatively high. It was a catching chance for Mayers, but he just didn't quite get round to it. And just a few more 6s, boys, please. Just a few more, says Daz. And the whole world has gone bonkers. Fire strikes, floods, war, sports. He always unites people. It's wonderful, says Roof. And there as well, but currently only 2 overs remaining. 35 runs required. 17.5 each over. That is definitely doable. If they hit 2 6s, they're in. I'll take it down to only needing around that 23 or so. Who do you want to win? I mean, it's a tricky one because both sides have played well throughout this match. At times, they've certainly bowled better than the last innings or the last T20 between the two sides, massively, because there were a lot of rough half volleys. Both sides, depending on how this end moment goes, would deserve to win, I have a feeling. Now, Alzadi Joseph back into the bowling attack. He bowled very well earlier. Has already taken the 2 wickets. Can he make it a 3rd? It's a big full toss. He hasn't got much of that one. Should be taken, and it is. Powell doing very nicely to take that one in the deep. The captain Gets it, and that is going to be the wicket of Hendricks. 83 of 44 deliveries. And that is going to be a big one for Alzarri Joseph to get. Not looking good now for South Africa. Yeah, losing that big man is going to be definitely the last thing that they wanted, although they've got Klaasen coming in who normally strikes it at about 144. There's still that little bit of a chance that he can go out there and fire. But the thing that's been hurting them a little bit is Markram, even though he's hit that 6, still sitting there 17 off 12, which isn't enough. Daz is not happy. He's got the swear words coming in. Also, out, 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 says Daniel there as well. Oh, they go the Windies. He managed 83. That is his highest score in recent time. Klaasen now making his way out to the middle. I wonder whether or not they'd consider sending in someone like a Rabada next to try and smack some massive shots in the fielders. Need some Velcro on their shoes. That gives more grip. Nice when it's a nail biter, says Roof. Here we go. Heinrich Klaasen, a man who can normally strike a big ball straight away. It's going to be Markram, though, I believe. It's going to be at the non-strikers end. The batter who hasn't had too many opportunities. Straight away goes bang. Hits it for 6. And that is a great shot. Straight away from Klaasen. Klaasen shot, says Jarler. Hopefully the Heinrich maneuver can resurrect the innings. Brilliant shot. Klaasen 6 off 1. Like I mentioned, he can hit it straight away from ball number 1. And that's what he's been able to do there. Just perfectly times that delivery. Hits it away to the side. 69 meters. That's all you got to hit it on that short side boundary. Being able to do it effectively. It was in the slot. And now Alzarri Joseph has to rethink his tactical plans. That one's gone up high. I believe that's going to be enough of a top edge to go. Oh, no. Cottrell's got him. And also, over there, yes, says Daz. Out, says Daniel. 10 balls left. All right. There's Nana by Hendricks next. And Joseph with 4 wickets here, looking for his 5 at the moment. Great work from Cottrell. That's actually his second catch. We see there. I believe it was, who was that warming up? I think that was actually Fortain warming up. But is he the next man to the middle? Went up high enough that they were able to cross. No, it's man Sky 3. Oops, my guy. Oh, my Sky 3 tad ahead. Says a Nazi in there. Yeah, I think because I'm on Sky Go, I'm just that little bit behind in terms of the overall speed. A real nail biter now, says Daz. Exactly right. But Klaasen to go out there, it's not what they needed because theoretically he needed to hit that 6. And even if it was a dot ball, they would have started being a bit behind. Now he's made his way off the field, 6 off 2 deliveries. And smashed it, lad, says Nate. Right, next batsman to the middle. Who's it going to be? It is Parnell, a man who strikes it at less than 100. But Joseph, now the opportunity is there for the West Indian quick to get his 5 for. His best is 29 not out, Parnell. Averaging 19. Surprising that they sent him in ahead of someone like a Kagiso Rabada. Down the leg side. Does hit it for just 1. We're going to need some big 6s from Markram. All they do take on the 2. That every run could be crucial at this point of the match. 2 more balls from Joseph. 27 runs needed off 8 deliveries, which now means for anyone doing the calculations that they need the required run rate, 20.3 runs per over. Here he goes, Parnell. 2 off 1. Oh, he's bowled. Alzarri Joseph. He gets his 5 for. It's thoroughly deserved as well. He has been absolutely brilliant throughout this one. No matter what happens in a game, Alzarri Joseph always keeps the same face. Doesn't smile. He does frown. He normally just continues frowning. Alzarri Joseph. Joseph 5 wickets. Well done. The Windies. South Africa win. Says Roloff and taking his pulse. Says Daniel and Sai. Says Daz there. So the trend looks like it will continue. That the West Indies are yet to lose a T20 tour in South Africa. They've drawn quite a few, but they have never lost one. And it seems like that is going to once again be the case. Those 2 last overs of South Africa's bowlers gave it away, although the drop catch gave it away more. If they had taken that drop catch, then all of a sudden those last 20 runs may not have actually happened. Brother Brosip Gets his man, Rosef, I should say, and out of the blocks with a six. That's the way it looks dangerous out of the middle. Lots of adrenaline nerves inside says as there. And also another thriller match. KFC Spicy Wings ready to fly in there as well. Joseph absolutely loved that one. New batsman. I think it's going to be probably Rabada. No, it's actually 14. So we saw him practicing his hitting arc outside off stumps where you got to go. Not quite that far for Alzari Joseph. That one has been called as a wide. Now Joseph, one ball left to try and get 6 wickets. That would be his best figures at the moment. The way Joseph has been bowling, and they've only really got, well, they've got Cottrell. He will be bowling the final one, that is for sure. Definitely with the swing and seam that he was able to get earlier on in the contest. Here he goes now. Alzari Joseph, final delivery to 14. Hits it. It's gone very high in the air. Is anyone under it? No, not quite for Mayers. Didn't want to reach out and take the dive into the 19th over and 195 for 6 now. Now, interestingly enough, this may seem like it's completely out of the woods, but that is somewhere around how high South Africa had the West Indies sitting up until that last over. So this is still doable. Dot says Daniel there, although it would have been a single, I assume, for that last run. Unless they decided not to take it on. Maybe they didn't. Or did they get? No, they must have gotten 2 for it. Sorry. And also, we there. Done, kia ora, peeps. Have an awesome day, night, morning, etc. Cheer and umpires join arms. Says cited. Enjoy your spicy hot wings. Fantastic. Joseph is spectacular at the moment. Got his line on left just right. Accurate bowling. And to be fair, both sides had an expensive drop catch. That is very true. Both sides getting that slightly wrong. Now, Joseph. He's done his job. Cottrell. Now, the thing is, Cottrell went for 29 in his first over of the last T20. So we know he can go for more than 26 in an over. Over 8 penalty. Maximum 4 fielders allowed outside of the circle. There you go. So because of the over rate, they've actually been penalised. Big shot straight away from Markram. Should be 2. They're going to have to run it hard. They've got to take it on. Markram gets there off a wonky throw, and they get through for the 2. Also, we have got the opponent now is very weak link in the batting lineup. Great bowling, but batting sucks, says Roof. And then also the Billy, says Daniel. So hopefully he's quick. That's the main thing, Roof. If he's quick between the wickets, he's probably, I guess, not a bad choice. Only 4 fielders allowed outside the circle due to them being too slow, the West Indies. I did feel like this game had been going relatively slowly. Now, Reefer. In fact, they didn't go with Cottrell. Sorry, my apologies. They've gone with Reefer, and that ball has raced away to the boundary. Now 20 runs needed off 4. It's a big mistake from the West Indies, not quite getting that run rate through, because that now means there'll be one more gap out in the deep that Markram can try and expose. And this man needs to work in even numbers, whether that's 2s, 4s, or 6s. Either way, he's got to get it all the way to the boundary a couple times to have a real crack with the South Africans. He needs, well, he would need 5 4s, but they've only got 4 balls left. So he will need 2 4s, 2 6s. Looks like West Indies just having a bit of a discussion. They're not sure about how many men they can have out. If they have too many, they will actually be no balled, and that would help massively. So Powell just having the conversation there. Reefer. It's surprising that he's the last man to bowl in this match, mainly because Cottrell was going so well. Still 4 6s to win, highly unlikely. Reefer, big full toss. Markram hits it away to the side. They once again need to take on the 2. Once again, bad throw. And Markram gets through, right? 3 6s to win this match now for Aiden Markram. Now we know he's got power. The question is, though, with Markram yet to hit a single 6 in this contest, can he get the job done? There's George and George and Hamish emojis. Right. Last thing they want is a wide. The last thing you want is to put it in the slot to give Markram a little bit of hope. He could finish this innings with a very nice score if he is able to get those 3 6s in a row. Here we go. Third last delivery, theoretically anyway. bowled by Reefer, good Yorker. And that is going to be possibly another 2 runs taken on. Yeah, they will get through comfortably. And now it means that as long as there's no balls, no wides, the trend for the West Indies undefeated in Test series. Well, not defeated, I think is the better way of describing it. And South Africa will continue game over. It's decided who wants is any more than likely at this stage West Indies, unless there's a no ball. It is the only way that it can change, and you can see the celebration from Powell when he saw that one. They will take the trophy home with them. Ready for now, once again, just Yorker, middle stump. That will be 4 down the ground, but it won't quite change the result. Kiwi lad who wants his Andy Mike. So still one more to go, but it will be the West Indies who have won. And a well done, Windies. Nice try, South Africa. There's Daz there. And also, Johannes has got the out emoji there as well. Done well here, Reefer. Gone for 14 runs, which normally wouldn't be great, but yeah, at least he's managed to get there and finish off the job. Can't get 12 from one unless lots of no balls. Exactly right. And that is the last thing. Like, if I was the bowler here for Reefer, I'd be bowling a good foot behind the line just to make sure that I'm all right. Running between the wickets also makes or breaks the game. Good communication is needed. Think South Africa just short tonight, unless there's sixes. South Africa a choker. I mean, they didn't choke in their 259 run chase, the largest that anyone has ever seen in T20 International. It's gone for the 4 runs, but the West Indies will be victorious, winning this match by 8 runs in the end, or winning by 7 runs, sorry. Doing very well. The Windies managing to get over the line. What has been a very exciting test match. Now, the question of man of the match, it's got to go to Alzadi Joseph, getting himself the 5 wickets in there. Deserved to win the series, says Jan Lu. And South Africa jokers also, says Andy. And 7-run difference, not bad, says Sided. Yeah, close match. So all the games have gone down to the wire relatively closely, which is great to see. The series, thanks again for the great commentating, sorry. Says Daz, thank you very much, mate. The Windies bowlers did it, said Roof, and I love cricket, says Andy. And there as well. But nonetheless, South Africa, they were defeated by 7 runs up against the West Indies. Thanks for the great stream. Good luck with the interview. Says Rudy. Cheers, mate. Hopefully, I'm wide awake for it. See how we go. Yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.